It's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey, everybody. Welcome. And happy Wednesday. It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a very early episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically get into all the latest celebrity news, gossip, anything that's going on in the world of entertainment and pop culture. We talk about it on this here show. So, before we get started with the upcoming topics that I will lay out for y'all in a good old second, please do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And I want to apologize for being 12 minutes late. It's early morning. I was doing a whole lot. I was trying to eat breakfast real quick, dealing with my dogs. Had to make my coffee because I got my coffee here in my little Mickey Mouse Magic Mountain Walt Disney mug. Clock the mug. But anyway, so I was doing all of that. Plus, I was like, oh my God, I'm not even ready. I didn't even have my banners ready. I had all the topics and everything done. I didn't have the banners. I didn't have my pictures and things that I want to pull up my videos. I'm like, Chad, what the hell? But nevertheless, we quit. We ain't going no motherfucking where, contrary to popular belief, because it's Pride Month, and after Pride Month comes July 1st, we still gonna be rolling around in the mud and things. So yeah. So we have a couple of topics. We're going to talk about Shifty Shellshock from Crazy Town. He passed away and stuff. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about one of my favorite shows, The Challenge 40. They got the whole cast. I'm going to weigh in on it because I'm like, ooh, this season going to be good. Plus, MTV pulled the stunt. MTV News, they wiped out their entire archives. So we're going to talk about that. And that's like all that good history gone. And it takes me back to a historical moment when I was at VH1, and I'm going to tell y'all about it when we talk. Plus, Mia Goth is finally addressing the Blade delays because, she's supposed to be playing Lilith in the upcoming Blade movie. So she was asked on the red carpet. She gave her opinion. We're going to play the clip and all that good stuff. Plus, we're going to talk about Kenya Moore. The news came out last night that she was officially chopped from Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do with the show now that they've shot a lot of stuff. I don't know how long they've been filming. I think they've been filming for a little over a month, but now they're trying to figure out what to do. I have my thoughts, so we're going to talk about it. Plus, we got some Jennifer Lopez tea, per usual. Apparently, she seemed to have given up on reconciling with Ben Affleck. I think we talked about that the other day, but I have a little more to add to it. Plus, Sunny Hostin from The View has weighed in on this whole Jennifer being seen riding, not riding, because you don't ride in a plane. You fly in one. Flying coach, like us regular people, from Italy to Paris. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Nutmeg McCain is wondering if Taylor Swift is about to get her karma because she out here throwing wrenches and other people trying to get that number one spot. She did it with Billie Eilish over in the UK. She did it to Charli XCX. So she's giving her thoughts, and I'm going to give mine because, I am a fan of Charli. And I've been preaching this shit to the choir for the longest. And I'm glad somebody else out there, even though I ain't really a fan of Nutmeg McCain, I kind of agree with her and some of the stuff she said. And some things I didn't. But when we break it down, I'll tell y'all what parts I agree with and what parts I don't, per usual. Plus, it looked like Britney Spears is bonding and getting back together with her son. She's reconciling with them, trying to retain a relationship or some of sorts. I have my thoughts. A lot of people are speculating that they feel like these boys is using her because, that child support payment about to dry up. So all of a sudden, let's get in the good graces of mommy. So I got my thoughts. Plus, Sean Penn is talking about straight actors playing gay roles. He's weighing in on it. I got my thoughts. Plus, speaking of gays, Adam Lambert is telling trolls that their hate for the community is only making queers louder and stronger, harder, better, faster, stronger. I just had a Daft Punk moment when I said that. And fans, last but certainly not least, we got some drag race news per usual, because I love my drag race and I love talking about drag queens and drag race and things of the nature on this show. So they're convinced a drag race winner from one of the international seasons is going to appear on All Stars 10. I have my thoughts. Plus, a whole lot more. I had to come on early also because I have to work later. So I wanted to give y'all a show yesterday, but by the time I got back home, I was exhausted. Like, it was 90 degrees. I went to the gym. I was running around doing a whole bunch of shit in Manhattan. And I was like, by the time I got home, I literally had no energy. I was like, I'm not getting on no live looking like I'm about half past dead. Like I wasn't doing all that. So I said, I'm gonna give y'all a show today. That's why I got my coffee. But anyway, let me hit that my banner and things. And yes, once again, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification button. Please, 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 and thank you because you're helping with the algorithms and my audience is growing. So I want to thank everybody who has been liking the show, subscribing, leaving comments, all that other stuff. Your love, it doesn't go unwarranted. I don't take your support for the show for granted. Those good things. I definitely appreciate y'all. Okay, so now we have a comment. Are there any married couples on the Housewives? Andy Cohen ain't married. Child, ain't nobody marrying him, quiet as it's kept. But yeah, are there any married couples? That's a good question. I mean, come to think about it, probably not. I think they all kind of, well, the ones I watch, well, on New Jersey, a lot of most, I think on Jersey, that I feel like based over the shows that I watch on, because I watch Real Housewives of New Jersey, most of the women on that show are married. Um, Housewives of Atlanta, I don't think any of them women on there married. Portia's going through her divorce because Simon wanted to impeach. So every time Portia be trying to do something, Simon be up in here running his mouth with some sissy shit. Kenya ain't married. She finally finalized that damn divorce for Mark. She also fired. We gonna get into that. What else? Who else? Sheree ain't married. Yeah, I don't think anybody on the Housewives of Atlanta. Well, Drew, Drew's still going through her shit with her husband. I don't even know where she stands with him, nor do I care. So I don't know. I don't think. I think there's a lot of them on that show that are not housewives. A lot of them are single, which means they need to change the name of the show. How about y'all change the whole fucking format? Because this whole 7 women migrating together and going and having drinks on boats and things, that shit is so late. Like, I'm so tired of that whole storyline. Like, everybody's done it. Y'all ran it into the ground for almost 20 years. Like, I just don't care anymore. J-Ho loves attention. Her marriage is nothing more than having a guy she can garner more attention. Yeah. And you know what? Partially, I think she's that way. She's a grade A narcissist. I truly believe that. But also, Ben is no better because if Ben just did this interview on Heart to Heart, and I'll bring that up later on again in the show. Ben did this interview on Heart to Heart somehow that the reason why he always looked like he got resting bitch face is because he's shy. He don't like a lot of attention. So then why did you go and marry one of the most famous women in the world who loves attention if you don't like attention? Number 2, you're an actor. You get paid to get on screen to pretend to be somebody you're not for a living. You're also a screenwriter and a filmmaker. So I get that you love the art of filmmaking and things of that nature, but the paparazzi, the photographer, the photography shit, all that comes with the territory. So for Ben Affleck to sit up in here and act brand damn new when you've been in the industry for over 2 decades, like, sir, let's not play dumb. So I blame the both of them. I think she's a grade A narcissist. She had kind of moved on and gotten him out of his system, but he did love bomb her and was like pursuing her. And maybe I was gonna say maybe he has addiction issues. He does have addiction issues. We know Ben has this addiction. We've known of his alcoholic addictions and then this, that, and the other. I'm not sure. I'm sure he did. He has, but I can't think off the top of my head if he's been to rehab, but I believe he has. And addicting personalities don't just start and end with alcohol. It could be in other ways. Maybe he's addicted to Jen's pussy. I mean, he did marry 2 women, but the same damn name. Or maybe he's addicted to Jennifer's. Who knows? Or something about Jennifer, or some people, especially when you're a Leo, because he is Leo, like my father, and many people I know. And I have a cousin who is in the same boat as a JLo. She ain't got JLo money, but she's been married 4 times. And I think a lot of times Leos get set in their ways. Leos get all excited and that adrenaline be pumping. They be so happy to be, whatever is going on. And then after a while, y'all get bored. You want to move on to something else. You realize, okay, I just jumped in this shit and I shouldn't have did that. Now I need to find a way to slither my way out. And that's, I feel like, where we are today. Hey, Onyx, how are you? And yes, it is early. I don't never be doing shows this early, but I was like, I got shit to do later, so I'm going to just give y'all a show. Robert, good morning. I said I'm gonna give y'all a show because I didn't want to wait till Thursday, and then I'd be like, it'd be so many damn topics. We'd be on here for 5 hours. And I said the thing, in my opinion, the husbands leave once they realize the women they married use them for fame, and once they got it, it was. I mean, he should have known that's how she was, but I guess maybe he thought 20 years later, that leopard done changed his spots. Jennifer is one of them leopards who will wear leopard, number one. And number two, she would never change who she is. She's always been, this lady that likes to play up, oh yeah, I'm from the hood. I'm just like you. But then lives very opposite of that. That's why I had to cackle when I saw Sonny Hostin's comment. And we're gonna get into it. I said Ben is what old folks used to call moody. He is moody. And here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with being alone. I'm a loner. I like my me time. I think I'm like my me time a little too much. And I think that's a dangerous thing, especially when you're a Virgo, is that we like we could be our own good company for, just a little too much. And sometimes it's like we were forgetting about people. It's like, yeah, I'm good. I can go home. I can sit up, curl up on the couch and watch some TV, and I'll be good. And give me some my favorite food. I don't know, some Chinese food or whatever, some ribs and mac and cheese or whatever the case is. And I'm watching whatever. And okay, I need to turn off. I always forget when I do this show. I need to put my phone on silent because I get so sick and tired of like my watch vibrating every 2 seconds, and it's just annoying. Oh yeah, you said you talking about the housewives. Oh, you talking about once they? Oh, you said the husbands leave once they realize the women they married use them for. I mean, I think it's partially it could be that a lot of times these women like being kept because they want to be taken care of, which is why you can't tell me nothing about that football owner who's like 70 something years old who's dating a 24-year-old. She ain't with your ass for love, and he got to know that. Um, but if you like it, I love it. But yeah, I think a lot of times, and one of the things I will say this about the housewives that I do like, a lot of times these women do just be like, they're just, they get to be socialized, they get to live the lavish lifestyle, all that other stuff. And then they go on these housewife shows because it's like, oh yeah, I want to show all this off. Similar to Erica Jane and so many others. And then when they get on these type of shows, even though I already knew about Erica Jane long before the housewives, because Logo used to play a lot of her music videos. So that's how I was familiar with Erica Jane before she went on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But when you watch with these women, it feels like they find their independence once they go on these reality shows because they're making their own money. They get to actually use those platforms to get into other business endeavors. So I think that's another thing about it. So these women find their independence, and then the men realize, oh, I'm just trying to let you go on the Real Housewives so y'all could be busy. You can leave me the fuck alone while I'm over here doing whatever I'm doing. Which is what Kelsey Grammer did when he got what's her name? His ex-wife on there. What the hell was her name? Camille. When he got Camille on there, he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep your ass busy. Meanwhile, he was fucking a whole what is it? I was gonna say a shop steward, a stewardess, a flight attendant. He was over there fucking another woman in New York while he was on Broadway, keeping Camille busy over in L.A. And then the tea spilled. See, this is what happened. Y'all be thinking like, oh, I'm gonna keep you distracted, but you seem to forget bloggers, tabloids, all these things exist. And when you over here doing stuff, you're gonna get called out. So he thought he can keep her distracted over there. He said, have you heard Kanye's wife speak? She's like a walking silent movie with double D. No, we've never heard her speak. And first of all, she needs to start wearing clothes that support the big ass titties of hers. Because them titties look like they're gonna be hitting her knees by the time she's 40. So she definitely need, I mean, I don't know, I was gonna say 30, but I don't know how old she is. But these older men like Kanye like running behind and getting with these little girls. So I was just trying to be nice to say 40. I'll say 35. Because I don't think she's even in her mid 30s. I don't even think she's in her, she might be like 27. Let me see, how old, see, now you're going to have me Googling. How old is Bianca Censori? Oh, she's 29. See, I should have been nice and said 30. Oh, she also got her teeth fixed because I seen one picture of her in here. I was like, girl, are you British? Because them teeth is a mess. But she's Australian, actually. Anyway, let's get to the show. We got a lot to spill. And let's talk about Shifty Shellshock. Now, some of y'all may not be familiar who Shifty Shellshock is, but he's from my generation of music artist because he came out in like the 2000s and that sort of thing, or like the late 90s, early 2000s. So everybody knows his. I mean, well, maybe you don't, but for those of you who don't know, he had a huge hit back in the day. They said he had multiple hits, but I only remember the Butterfly song. Come, my baby, come, my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar lady, like that song. That was like their song back in the day, and that was like Shifty, Shellshock, Crazy Town. They were trying to capitalize off the whole rap rock genre of music when we had Limp Bizkit, Corn, who else? Stained, POD. I actually was a POD fan. Um, there was this whole rap rock era that was coming on with a lot of white boys that was rapping over like a hip hop mixed with some rock music. Linkin Park was like one of my all time favorite groups and stuff growing up. But anyway, so he passed away at the age of 49, and they said that the musician who was born Seth Binzer was discovered in his home on Monday, according to ABC7, which cites the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner. No additional details regarding the circumstances of his death have been revealed. Binzer co-founded Crazy Town, with Brett Mazer in 1999. After making music together under different monikers for a few years, the rap rock group received success relatively quickly, releasing their debut album, The Gift of the Game, in November of 1999 and scoring their first #1 single in March 2001 with Butterfly, which features a sample of the band's one-time tour mates, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They said the Peppers are a huge inspiration to us, Benzer told Rolling Stone in 2001, detailing the support Anthony Kiedis offered when he turned to substance abuse during a particularly rough breakup. Anthony found me and took me to lunch where I tried to borrow money from him so I could get high. I didn't finish my rampage for a couple of days, but he showed me that I had people who were worried and cared about me. Anthony's this angel who appeared in my life. Crazy Town briefly disbanded in 2003 following their second album, Dark Horse, and Benzer released his debut solo album, Happy Love Sick, in 2004. And that's where he also had a song called Starry Eye Surprise, where he collaborated with Paul Oakenfold. I wonder if that was around the same time that Paul Oakenfold collaborated with Brittany Murphy. May she rest in peace. And I was always looking forward to, I like when Brittany Murphy slithered her way into the music business, because that was a bop when she had that song, Faster Kill Pussycat. That was my shit back in the day. So I believe that they broke up after the second album because that second album did not ignite the same success of their first, because in my opinion, they said they had more than one hit. Maybe it was he had a solo hit, Starry Eye Surprise with Paul Oakenfold, but also Butterfly was like, they were one hit wonders at this point. So he probably, couldn't deal with the success, a whole bunch of other stuff. He's been going through substance abuse for years. I believe he did a couple of seasons of Celebrity Rehab on VH1. And we don't know what the cause of death is, but I have a strange feeling it's some stuff from his past, substance abuse, that may have partaken in this. So it's only a matter of time before we find out what really transpired. It's the same thing like with what's his name? With Matthew Perry, which recently came out with they looking into some people that could be charged with his death because, how did he get the ketamine and all that other stuff? And I heard Charlie Sheen, ex-wife, is being questioned in this whole situation. Not Denise Richards, his other ex-wife, the recent one that he had. So, there's a lot of tea coming out about that. I'm going to save that story for tomorrow because I am going to do a show tomorrow because I'm actually off tomorrow. So I will discuss that tomorrow, and we'll talk about it more because I'm sure more stuff is going to come out about that. But I'm feeling it's going to be like the same thing I believe that happened to, I think, Michael K. Williams, the guy that dealt him the drugs. He wound up going to jail, and this is what's been happening a lot, that these people that be dealing these drugs to these celebrities and stuff that are lacing you, putting things in the drugs, be it, fentanyl or whatever the case is, they coming after y'all. So I say this, so what do you guys think of this story? Were you a Shifty Shellshock fan? Were you surprised when you heard this tea that happened? Quiet as a scab. I'm going to be honest. I actually thought Shifty Shellshock died eons ago because I could have sworn I heard a name that he had passed away, but apparently he didn't. He passed away on Monday. I thought it was years ago. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story down below. Okay, so we have comments. It says Shifty also had a minor pop hit, but huge dance hit and international hit. Yeah, I just talked about that. Starry Eye Surprise. That inspired his solo album to be more electronic. And that would have probably worked with him, is that, you know what? rapping over an electronic beat because it was like doing the whole hip hop rap, the rap rock type thing. Yeah, it was cute, but to me that was sort of like a moment in time. That whole sound wasn't gonna last forever because everybody was trying to jump on that shit. And of course, anything that MTV could do to whitewash hip hop, they were gonna do it. Even to this day. And the curse of celebrity rehab is still alive. Remember, lots of people ended up unalive after appearing on that show. Yeah, because it was like, and we didn't think about that. It was like, you know what, you possibly could be out here exploiting people for for our entertainment. I just thought it was like, my naive behind when I was watching shows like Celebrity Rehab back in there. It's like, oh, I get to see some of my favorite celebrities and people that I was aware of to an extent, but not fully, end up on these shows. And it's like you learn stuff about them, but then you're hoping that they get better. And it's not just them being exploited, for our entertainment. So whenever you see a former skinny, ragged looking, rocker looking buff, it means he cleaned up. Yeah, because one thing I will say is that Shifty had body. Like he looked like he was in the gym a lot. So that was a muscular man. And I was like, I used to be like, oh, I want to get some of that when I was younger, but not realizing that he was a full on drug addict. I was like, mm-mm. It said Lincoln Park is what killed Rap Rock, as it was douchebag and juvenile. But yeah, I think the reason why I liked Lincoln Park is because it wasn't basically he wasn't trying to do this whole misogyny type crap that Limp Bizkit was doing. Where lyrically they were. It's funny how, and then I just said that you went and put Limp Bizkit in the thing. So it's like, yeah, with Limp Bizkit and those other type of rappers were trying to do, it's just like trash. Even though I will admit I was buying Limp Bizkit's music, but then you look back on it, I'm like, this music was garbage. Shout out to you, Fred Durst, but your music was trash. But and also I just feel like because what the hell of what Chester was singing about, it was a lot of things that was going on in his personal life, like a lot, like his battle with depression and anxiety and just dealing with a lot of stuff. So it was so he was bringing a lot of emotion to that genre of music, and I think that's why people resonated with him. Like I told you, the first time I ever heard of Linkin Park was that episode of the Real World when Mike the Miz went to a Linkin Park concert. And that was the Back to New York season. See, I'm taking y'all back to like the early two. But that was a good damn season. And Mike the Miz was on it, and I miss Coral. See, now when we talk about this, the Challenge 40 thing, I'm like, damn, I would love to see Coral come back to the show because we've been seeing a lot of, like, if y'all been watching the Challenge, what was it, the All-Star season, and I'll be seeing Tina and Veronica and Rachel and all the girls that I used to live for back in the day. And I'm like, I want some of the other ones. First of all, I need Landon to come back to the show. Landon was fine as hell back in the day. And I was like, and he was like one of my favorite challengers, but I guess, not everybody want to come back. It said Limp Bizkit cover of George Michael's Faith. I wanted to be dead. Speaking of which, I just heard that since we talking about Fred Durst, I just heard he directed a music video for Corey Feldman. I just saw that what was it, yesterday? Where he would incorporate stuff from like the Goonies and a bunch of other stuff in there. Fred Durst graduated from school. Oh, he did? Wait, where's Fred Durst? Is he from Detroit, Pennsylvania? I know he's from some small town type area. Like I know he's not from a big city. Whatever happened to Sugar Ray? That's a good question because the lead singer, I know he went off. Mark McGrath, I know he went off and just started doing what is it? He started doing a lot of media stuff. Like I know he was like doing extra and one of those type of shows. So I know he started being more like a talk show host of sorts, or like interviewing people on red carpet. So I know Mark McGrath was doing that. I don't know what happened to him because I really haven't been following him since, but I do remember that he was doing that. And sidebar, since we talk about old rock groups and things, I just had to put in my schedule for next month, and I'm going to be doing 2 Foo Fighter shows and a Blink 182 show. So I'm about to get my life because those are my bands when I was growing up. So I'm going to have to contain my composure and just be professional, but getting into the music. Where I was like, I got a message. Wait, somebody, I hate when I'm live. Wait, trying to figure who the hell is Jonathan? Did I get some? See, look, Chris, this is why you got to stop doing stuff on. This is why I got to stop paying attention. What happened to the What happened to the meatpacking district? It is desolate, vacant storefront. Oh wait, are you in New York? Cause you do talk like you in New York. Um, Funnily enough, well, yeah, that is a good question. Because yesterday I actually was in the meatpacking district. Because when I left the gym, I was like, I'm a go for a walk and all this other stuff. So I did pass through the meatpacking district. But how is that? That's everywhere, chair. It's like everywhere you go, it's like a lot of abandoned stores. And I don't understand why New York people don't understand this. These people that want to hike up these prices on the stores and like, the rent hikes and all the other stuff. Like they're raising the rent on the stores, you're raising the rent on the apartments, and you're making it hard for people. You're making it hard for people to like sustain things. So I don't know why y'all think it's cute to have a bunch of abandoned damn buildings all over the place, because it ain't. New York gonna find itself imploding. He said, "Watch 13." Funny enough, I have seen that movie on. I think it was on one of the streaming services. I think it was Paramount Plus. I saw 13 Fanboy. The fan films of Friday 13 was happening because of the lawsuits. It was meta, like what would happen if a fan unalived the real life actors of the franchise. I actually thought of watching it, but I was like, it's probably a terrible ass movie. But funny enough, I feel like the fan movies of horror films tend to be better than the actual horror films. Because you talking about the 13th Fanboy, I say also watch Never Hike Alone on YouTube. There's been a lot of fan service movies based off of Jason. And the good thing about that I love about it is that it features Tom Matthews, who played Tommy Jarvis, the older one, the one from Friday the 13th Part 6. And he was also in, you know, Return of the Living Dead. I don't know why he was in Return of the Living Dead too, because they killed his character off, but then they brought him back and really explained how the hell he was alive. But stupid decisions and Return of the Living Dead 2 aside, I like Tom Matthews. They had him in Never Hike Alone. The recent one that came out a couple of months ago and a previous one before that. And also they brought back the cop from Friday the 13th Part 6. And they also, the one that always says, wherever the red dot goes, you bang. He actually appears in that too. So I thought those were really good too. So if y'all get a chance, definitely go on YouTube and watch Never Hike Alone. Because I thought like those Friday the 13th those fan films that were actually pretty good. It says, D Wallace still went back to horror films after her phone. But you know what? D Wallace has always been, I know she's been keeping herself in a lot of horror. Look, she was also in Rob Zombie's Halloween, playing Laurie Strode's adopted mother. I actually don't mind Rob Zombie's Halloween. There are things in it I hate. Like, why did we make Michael Myers white trash? Like, I don't get that. I get that that's always been your aesthetic, but that was never Michael Myers is more scary where he's just a regular kid who just fucking is crazy. I don't understand like you trying to give him a whole backstory. His mother's a damn stripper. The guy that she's single mother getting dealing with deadbeat men or no good ass men, and then the sister's a whore. Like, huh? That is not a motivation for why that boy all of a sudden and he's being bullied. Like, come on. He fucked. Let me get off it because Rob Zombie, in my opinion, ruined Halloween. Even though there's parts of the original Halloween, his version of Halloween, I don't mind. He fucked that franchise up for me. It don't even get me started on part 2. I don't even understand what the hell was going on in that movie. And number 2, I'm still mad at him for the way that he had Michael Myers, the way he murdered my girl Octavia Spencer in that damn movie. Yeah, she was a nurse. And I hate that scene. Because I'm like, okay, like you doing the most. Like you really throwing your back into stabbing this bitch up. Even as far as like leaving the knife in her head. I was like, okay, you doing the most. Stop it. And not to my Octavia Spencer. um, oh, I, I've heard of Freeway, but I never got around to watching it. So, um, anyway, so now I know who it is because somebody left me a message, whatever the case was, and yesterday, and then I had to get back to me. Okay, so now we're gonna fully concentrate. Let me get off this whole situation. But anyway, let's move on with the show and let's talk about the challenge. Now, one of the things, I don't watch a lot of reality TV. I do watch a lot of reality competition shows. That's kind of like my favorite thing. I've kind of outgrown the whole reality TV, like the whole Real Housewives stuff. Like every now and again, I'll take a gander based on some things. Like I told you, I do want to see the season with the New Jersey season because I got to see Jen Aiden get slapped the shit out of with that glass because that bitch had a long time coming. I can't stand her, and the people that sit and defend her, there's a special place in hell for y'all. But and Teresa, and but anyway, to get off the Housewives, one of the shows that I do love besides RuPaul's Drag Race, another favorite competition show, even though y'all get on my nerves with some of the things, the little stunts that y'all be pulling up on there, and some of the decisions. And, what else? The Traitors is another show I love, but one of the shows that I absolutely love that I've grown up with and I have stuck it out. I can't believe I've stuck it out for 40 damn seasons. The Challenge is coming back with a whole new season where their 40th season where they're going to bring back all the vets and there's going to be a battle of the eras and there's 4 eras and we're going to get into who's a part of each era and which teams I'm rooting for. So it says the longest running reality competition series is back with its monumental 40th season. The Challenge 40 Battle of the Eras will debut on MTV Wednesday, August 14th at 8 p.m. The new season will feature, and it's probably going to be like 90 minutes because they do be making I've noticed they've been doing longer seasons of the Challenge, which I've been living for. So the new season will feature 40 veteran players from the series' last 26 years, each representing their era. The roster features the most champions ever, including 7-time winner Johnny Bananas Venanzio, 5-time champ CTC. His name is CT. We call him CT, but it's Chris Tamborello. 4-time winners Darrell Taylor and Jordan Wisely, and 3-time winner Derek Kozinski. Now, here's the thing. I love me some Jordan. Jordan need to calm down sometimes. He get a little too arrogant, but I like him. And I like both Dereks because they have Derek Kozinski's going to be on there, and then they got Gay Derek, who was just on the All-Star season that just ended I think last week on Paramount Plus. I just binged it the other day. So, because I hate, like, when I watch those type of shows, I get so caught up in it. It's like, I can't keep waiting every week for a new episode. So I wait till the whole season finishes out and I'll binge it. So they said winners who have won the title twice include Mark Long, John A. Mannion, Rachel Robinson, Cara Maria Cervello, Laurel Stuckey, and Jody Weatherton, Casey Clark, Nehemiah Clark, Katie Cooley, Tori Deal, Brad Fiorenza, Aviv Melmed, I have no idea who that is, Emily Schramm, Devin Walker, and Jenny West. And they said that they have all taken home one. Well, actually, I say Casey, Nehemiah, Katie, Tori, Brad, Aviv, Emily, Devin, and Jenny have only taken home one win. But Mark Long, John A., Rachel, Cara Maria, Laurel, and Jody have taken home 2 wins. And Laurel just won. Shout out to Laurel, who just won the All-Star season. And Cara Maria came in second. And then, oh my God, who came in third? It was I forgot his damn name, but he was from one of the old seasons of, I think it was Road Rules. So it was a guy that came in third. And I was so mad when Leroy got kicked off because he didn't finish out the challenge. He made it to the final, but he didn't get to, him and his baby mama, because they're not married. I really was rooting for them because they got a baby and all this other stuff. But it don't seem like she's doing this season. But anyway, so they said the cast must first compete at the Era Invitational and eliminate the weakest links from within their own challenge era, for only the best will earn a coveted spot on their team, the press release reads. With relentless new challenges and twists, these seasoned veterans are perpetually kept on their toes in the game they thought they had mastered. Legends will collide as they endeavor to etch their names into eternal challenge stone and earn their share of $1 million. Now, I don't think anybody on this show has ever won $1 million. Or am I wrong? Because I've always thought, like, okay, so they do 200,000, they probably done $500,000, but I don't think anyone's ever won $1 million. That's a big thing. First of all, I still think that they need to raise that damn money on RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, why are y'all giving people, okay, they think, oh, 200,000, 250, that ain't shit after taxes. Like, I would love for y'all to kind of really push it to $500,000 or $1 million, especially with all the money that y'all make in MTV. They said the Challenge 40 Battle of the Eras countdown begins to meet the cast and launch special, which will air on August 7th at 8 p.m., 1 week before the premiere. Additionally, new episodes of MTV's official Challenge podcast will drop new episodes every Thursday following the premiere. The challenge was created for MTV by Bunham Murray Productions. So, without further ado, let's get into the list of people who are going to be on the upcoming season. So, of course, I had to bring the pictures in. Wait, am I on the right one? No, I'm not. It's this one because it makes it look bigger and better. Hold on. Okay, so let's bring it down some. And so our first group that we have, because I'm doing this on the fly, is we got Anissa Ferreira, Brad Fiorenza, CT, Darrell Taylor, Derek Kaczynski, Jodie Weatherton, Katie Cooley, Mark Long, Rachel Robinson, and Tina Barta. First of all, because I've been watching the show from the beginning. There's so many people in this group that I absolutely love. It's gonna be real hard to see, like, oh damn, who are y'all gonna get rid of? Anissa is my girl, but I be feeling like she don't really be bringing it as much as she has. Brad, I don't know. When I just watched him on the All-Star season, this wasn't his year. His head, in my opinion, was not in the game. He kept fucking up a lot of the challenges. I'm rooting for him to get his redemption situation, but I don't know. And, CT plays a good mental game as well as a physical game. So it's going to be a hard one. Like, who y'all going to go after first? I already feel like, as much as I love Katie, she's a loose cannon. So she's going to bring the dramatics. Derek is a bit quiet, but he is sort of like the silent assassinator. Mark also, he's a legend in this. Like, he's from the very first season of Road Rules. So he older than Methuselah. So so him being a part of the show is awesome. And I'm so glad that we got Rachel coming back, because Rachel was just on a season of All Stars where she got sent home too. So I'm rooting for him. Okay, so now let's go to the next photo, which is this group. Of course, now it's like I gotta open up all the damn photos. So now we have this group here. Now, this is another strong one, in my opinion, where we have Era 2, which is Aviv Melmed. I have no idea who that is, because I'm looking in the picture, and I'm like, who is that? Whose name is Aviv? Oh, that's that girl. Maybe I do know her, but I don't remember her. Anyway, Brandon Nelson. I don't see Brandon lasting. Brandon was just on the season of All Stars, the one that's on Paramount Plus, if y'all haven't seen it. But this is actually a good group too. So y'all have Cara Maria, who is melodrama on steroids. Derek Chavez, who I was looking at him on the last season. I was like, Derek stepped his pussy up on that season, and then also I was looking at him like, well, I want to eat his butt. I've always had a little crush on Derek. Emily Schramm, Johnny Bananas, Kelly Ann Judd, Laurel Stuckey, Nehemiah, and Ryan. So you already know, I already know what this gives. Y'all gonna go after the gays first. They didn't do that last season. They had a pretty good amount of people who, and I love to see it in regards of, with the gays and how they was dealing with on the challenge. Because one of the things I've always hated about the challenge is when the gays are on there and y'all be always trying to throw the men under the, into the arena, and y'all want to chop them. So it was good that Ryan and Derek lasted as long as they did, including Derek finally making it to a final, but also because Derek stepped up and was really working his ass off in a lot of those challenges. So he really stepped up and proved himself physically. And which is why I always had this idea to do a show like The Challenge with LGBTQ people, because I always feel like, we only see a side of the gays where they do drag or they do hair and makeup and all that. I said, there's gays out here who do entertainment. I mean, they do physical challenges and stuff too. So we definitely need that. But I could definitely see that this season is going to be melodramatic, especially Era 2, where they're going to be There's a lot of drama, a lot of argument, a lot of infighting. Y'all going, I mean, Ryan to me hasn't really been bringing it physically, but Derek has shown he has definitely stepped up. So hopefully I could see him lasting. Brandon is a little too quiet in my opinion. Johnny Bananas, with him and Carmaria on the same damn team and Laurel, them hotheads, child, it's going to be a hot ass mess. And no shade, but I'm here for it. So now we have era 3, which is Amanda, Avery, and I actually like Avery. I didn't know much about her because maybe I missed the season that she was on or whatever the case was, but I actually thought she did a good job on the last season of All Stars. She didn't make it into the final. She almost did because she actually didn't wait too long. She actually earned her star, but then she got to take it away. But she tried to fight for it, and then she didn't make it into the final, unfortunately, but we'll see how far she gets in this season. Then, of course, we got Corey, who I actually like, but he gets on my nerves too. Devin, full of drama. He's really good at hatching plans and being mentally smart, but also he's good at the physical challenges, especially when it comes to puzzles. John Day, okay, whatever. Leroy, I love me some Leroy. And especially because he has Killer Cam, who I don't see is on this season coming up. So they have to he's going to be there fighting for not only the mother of his child, who is most likely sitting this out because she's raising a kid, but he's got to fight for her and then fight for their son. So he's got a lot of reasons to be there. And I liked their story arc on the last season of All Stars, but and I was so sad to see Leroy get cut from the final, but I'm glad that he's back. Then we have Nia Moore, Tony Raines. Well, I'm glad that Tony's coming back because Tony was on the last season of All Stars, but he had to leave because of a family emergency. So he didn't really get to compete like he wanted to. But it was good to see Tony come back, especially with all the things that he was going through, in the past. And this was like his moment of redemption. So we'll see how well he does on this upcoming season. Jordan is someone who's very good at the physical challenges and stuff, but a lot of times his arrogance can get the best of him. And Tori. So I live for Tori. So that's they got a really good, strong team of people on this upcoming season, and I am here for it. And last but certainly not least, let's get to Era 4, which in my opinion is, in the words of Miss Mamas from that show, they are the weakest link. Goodbye. But there's a couple of them on this team that I'm like, okay, I actually like some of y'all, but no shade. Era 4 is the weakest, but might be the most dramatic. So first of all, y'all got Horacio on there. I live for some Horacio. That is a good-looking ass boy. So Horacio Gutierrez Jr. Then we got Jenny. Y'all already know Joshy, as we like to call him. Child, I'm waiting for him to come out of the closet. But Josh with all his melodramatics. Then we got Casey, who, is, I think she's still engaged to Nani. I hope they are because I want that relationship to work. I like Nani and I like Casey. So hopefully them lesbians are still together. Kylan Young, I'm familiar with him, but it's like, okay, whatever. Michelle Fitzgerald, don't know her. Nerese, okay, whatever, girl. Like, who she gonna do, sleep with half the cast? Because that's basically what she was given. Olivia, meh. Paulie, now Paulie is Carmaria's boyfriend, who also came out as bisexual. So it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic works out because it's like you got your girlfriend and you got two couples. Well, you got a couple. Shouldn't say two couples because two is like four. So you have a couple who are on two different eras that are going to try to fight to make it all the way to the end of the show. And yeah, so they have, and then Theo. So I'm like, okay, Theo, isn't he British? I think he is. I've seen him on the newer seasons, but yeah, Theo is just there. So out of Eras 4, the only people that I can see that's really going to bring it with the drama and all that other stuff, it'll be Horacio. Well, no, Horacio is somebody who is all about the physical challenges and doing what needs to be done. He's not somebody that's loud and rambunctious and always needs to do dumb shit to get attention. So Horacio is like the silent killer. But the people on that team that I feel like is going to be the messiest and the more dramatic, I could definitely see Josh and Paulie basically, doing what needs to be done. But I already have a feeling that they really going to be going after the Eras 4. So if I really had to choose on this season, because I live for the original cast members of like CT and all of them. I'm going for Eras 1 and Eras 2 because Johnny Bananas is on Eras 2. So those are my seasons. And while I do like other people from the other eras, like I like some of the people from Era 3 and Era 4, I'm definitely rooting for Era 1 and Era 2. So it's between those two, in my opinion, that are going to bring it in regards of the upcoming season in regards to making it all the way to the end. But I say all this to say because I had to go down piece by piece with all this stuff. Are you guys a fan of the challenge? Are you excited for this upcoming season? TJ is a full-on cackle as a host. The way he just be laughing at the stupidity of these people on that damn show. It is one of my all-time favorite shows. And I'm glad that they bring a lot of veterans on. I think they're doing this because last season, in my opinion, was boring. I didn't particularly care for the last season they did, where they tried to bring on these newbies that were trying to be the next generation of these all-star types or these veterans. And to me, y'all don't have that X factor like the Johnny Bananas, like a Anissa, like a Laurel, like a Jordan and all these other, or a Leroy and all these other things. I know y'all trying to emulate and be where they are, but y'all not giving me what they gave me when I was coming up watching the show. And I think I like watching the challenge because it's comfort food. I grew up watching the show and it's always, in my opinion, and Rachel, I should throw her in there too. And then watching them, it's like, damn, it's like, I remember when y'all were like this age and y'all were so young, and then now here y'all are on this show and it's like, y'all look the same but older. It's like when you grow up with people, it's like comfort food almost. So let me know what you guys think of this story down below. Okay, so we have comments. It said, I've always had a toxic attraction to CT. Yeah, I remember. Oh, yeah, I remember. CT was like that guy from Boston, um, that typical homophobic, whatever. And remember when he got into it with Adam, when he damn near tried to kill Adam on the show? So it said he got kicked off for attacking gay cast member Davis back in the. Whatever happened to Davis? I always felt like there was something more to that story. Would you think that him and Davis might have hunched? Because CT definitely gives me like, I'll fuck up a homosexual, but low key I'll let you suck my dick. Like he gives me that when the camera's on. And then yeah, CT was a lit fuse that was just out of control. And I guess over the years we've seen like, you know what, all is forgiven. Just like look, they brought back Jordan. Jordan had some issues and stuff, and they got him back on the show. So if people show that they've grown and that they've matured, I'm all for them coming back to TV shows and having that moment of redemption. So I like CT, and I'm glad he's back on the show. Like he's shown that he's grown and matured. He was also he won the Traders too with Trishelle. That was another thing. If y'all didn't see that, it's dropping by to say hi. Thank you. Make sure you do catch up later. Okay, so speaking of which, let's get into the next story. And let's talk about MTV basically wiping out their archives or MTV News. So according to Variety, more than two decades worth of content published on MTVnews.com is no longer available after MTV appears to have fully pulled down the site and its related content. Content on its sister site, CMT.com, seems to have met a similar fate. In 2023, MTV News was shuttered amid the final financial woes of parent company Paramount Global as of Monday. First of all, Paramount is a hot ass mess right now. What are they doing? First of all, I just heard they raising the price of Paramount Plus again. And they keep going back and forth on whether or not who is going to buy Paramount Global because they've been trying to put it up for sale. People have been bidding on it. They won't sell it. I don't know what's going on, but Paramount, y'all need to figure out what the hell y'all doing over there. Especially since I am a subscriber to Paramount Plus, and I'm not going to just keep shelling out money for stuff because all of this stuff adds up. And when you look at it, I'm going to start churning because, if a show pops up, I'm going to just start binge watching and canceling. Because I'm not going to keep raising the prices every couple of months. And it's not even like every year, every other year. It's every couple of months. A lot of you streaming services are raising your prices. But anyway, so it says, the now unavailable content includes decades of music journalism comprising thousands of articles and interviews with countless major artists, dating back to the site's launch in 1996. Perhaps the most significant loss is MTV News' vast hip-hop related archives, particularly its weekly Mixtape Monday column, which ran for nearly a decade in the 2000s and 2010s and featured interviews, reviews, and more with many artists, producers, and others early in their careers. Former MTV News staffers posted on social media about the website shutdown and the scrubbing of the archives, so MTVnews.com no longer exists. 8 years of my life are gone without a trace. This is what Patrick Hostin, former music editor at MTV News, wrote on Twitter. All because it didn't fit some executives' bottom lines. Infuriating is too small a word. Another person wrote, sickening, derogatory to see an entire at MTV News archive wiped from the internet. Crystal Bell, cultural editor at Mashable, and one-time entertainment director of MTV News, posted on X, decades of music history gone, including some very early K-pop stories. This is disgraceful. They've completely wiped out MTV News archive. Longtime Rolling Stone senior writer Brian Hyatt commented, decades of pop culture history, research material gone, and why? Now, last week, Paramount Global CMT website similarly pulled a repository of country music journalism dating back several decades. This is another thing, too. See, hearing this shit pisses me off, because as someone who actually was at VH1, and the many a times I had to run down to the ER. So for those of you who are not aware, the ER is what they actually called an area in Viacom, the Viacom building on 1515 Broadway, where a lot of us had to go and we had to pull archival footage. So we would go down there, we would give them the thing and be like, okay, we need this from this date on this situation, and then we take it. It was literally in a thing, a big ass tape. That's how back in the day it was. Because when I was in college, I actually went when I was at VH1. What was it? It was around the first season of Drag Race is when I was back in college. So 15 years ago. Yeah, because we're in season 16, but it was literally 15 years ago because they always filmed a year before. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So the ER was basically where they held all the archival footage at, from MTV, VH1, whatever the case was, all the Viacom owned situations. So what irritates me in all this is because this is history. And it's like, we get so upset at the fact that the younger generations aren't really familiar with a lot of what's going on in music and of the people that came before some of your faves. And I love the fact that, you know what, the internet is a good damn thing because we have the internet now that is creating these things, and we have people out here that will constantly pull it and put it and stitch it and all this other stuff and have the conversations. But when you have something like an MTV where it's like they have all that copyrighted footage, there's a lot of stuff that's in the archives, and y'all just going to basically wipe everything out, all people's hard work, all these other artists that came before, where it's like the history of so many different genres of music that happened in those days. And you got CMT taking the stuff down, and then you got MTV taking the stuff down, and it affects things like the hip hop community and so many other communities, but particularly the hip hop community, because the hip hop community is something that we definitely need, those historical moments and those things where people need to be constantly reminded of the things that happened back in those days, because a lot of these up and coming rappers be trying to act like that, hip hop was invented when they was born, when hip hop been around since the early 70s. So it irritates me when MTV is doing this, especially because, and also when we've gone through so many situations with MTV, where y'all have tried so many times to discount hip hop, you ignored it, you try to whitewash it, you do so many things with hip hop, and you have been called out many times on your blatant racism until you couldn't deny it anymore, and y'all had to accept a lot of what was going on in the world of hip hop. So this is unfortunate, and to me, it's just like, this is ridiculous. I wonder what Kurt Loder, of all people, has to say about all this, because, he was a prominent staple at MTV News. And I used to live when I was growing up, because that was the only place that we can get a lot of our information, was when we would get those little, MTV News. And then Kurt Loder would come up, and then he would give us the latest on what was going on, who's shooting what, and this music video, or whatever was going on with celebrities. This is pre-internet. So I used to look forward to whenever I would watch MTV, and I'd have it on all, for hours, watching the music videos and things. And you get those briefs of MTV News coming up, and then I would go on the internet, and when the internet was starting to internet and was getting better with the technology and stuff, and you would go and you would look up you would go on MTV News to get your information. Now these days, I can see why they shut down. Ain't nobody going on MTV News to get their information. It's everywhere. You can get it from TMZ. You can get it from, I was going to say Pop Crave, not Poop Crave, Pop Crave. You can get it from, the Neighborhood Talk. You can get it from the Shade Room. You can get your information from the Variety, Deadline, Rolling Stone, Billboard. There's so many different Complex. There's so many places now that you can go to get your celebrity information. MTV is the last place anybody going to get any kind of information, especially since they ain't put out nothing musically in almost 20 damn years. So this is a sad moment in pop culture news. It's unfortunate this is something that they've done, but it is what it is, I guess. But let me know what you guys think of this story down below. Okay, so we have comments, and it says, I'm always like, is the Hot 100 and Billboard charts in general and the streaming charts are more of a reflection of the listening habits. I always thought MTV missed a big opportunity not airing archives during the pandemic. Child, MTV missed a lot of opportunities for everything, but they'd rather just show y'all hours upon hours of fucking ridiculousness, Jersey Shore family vacation, and ridiculousness, and Teen Mom. That's what they want to show y'all. Because the way these kids, run around, they think like that is MTV. They probably never have seen a music video ever on MTV. I'm glad I came from an era where I got to witness all of that. But I preferred MTV2 because MTV2, they had they showed like all kinds of, music. It was alternative, it was rock, it was pop, it was dance. They even had 100 I used to love that show 120 Minutes with Matt Penfield. I remember when Matt Penfield, I think he auditioned to want to be a VJ. And I think it was between him and Jesse Camp. And they went and picked Jesse Camp. And then they ended up hiring him anyway, even though Jesse Camp chair, y'all only picked him because he was a caricature. Like that was not, I mean, yeah, it was cute or whatever, and it worked in his favor at the time when he got hired. But Matt Penfield was like the real deal when it came to MTV News and pop culture and that sort of thing. I said they were airing VMAs from the 90s one day, and I always thought they should have profited off their own material. Well, child, they stayed dropping the ball over there at MTV. That interview with Kurt and Madonna and Courtney. Well, look, the good thing about social media is that footage exists. So it's been popping up. Like, remember, even before this news came out that they wiped out all that footage, we were seeing clips of Madonna and Courtney and their infamous, shade fest, at the VMAs, made all over social media. So I'm sure there's people out there that ripped a lot of the footage and will post it online. Hopefully what's not going to happen is that MTV will be like, well, you can't use our likeness. You can't use our stuff. First of all, y'all wiped y'all archives. So what footage? It's like Jesse Camp talking about a black. And funnily enough, I probably told y'all this, but I actually did that whole audition process. I went 2 years in a row. Of the want to be a VJ contest. I remember getting up at midnight and going out to Manhattan and standing on that line outside at literally 2 a.m. until they, got us in that building. And I remember auditioning. So I was like, child, those were the days when you actually, stood outside and you actually went on that whole open call. I don't think they do that anymore with all that. Those were the days too. It's like you had to sit outside. And funny enough, the fucked up part is you didn't have phones and stuff. So it's like, how do you keep yourself busy? You brought a book. You made friends with people on the line. So there was that. But yeah, that was like when, I had a whole lot of time on my hands. Yeah. But anyway, let's move on. And to our next topic. And let's talk about Mia Goth, who is finally opening up. Well, was giving her, she's weighing in, I should say. I was going to say finally giving her thoughts. But then again, it kind of is final because we really haven't heard from her. So she's weighing in on, the numerous setbacks and delays on Marvel's Blade because, as I mentioned earlier in, when I was setting up the show and letting you know what the upcoming topics were, she is set to play Lilith in the upcoming Blade reboot. So, according to Deadline, they said original Blade star Wesley Snipes may be poking fun at the delay of Marvel Studios' reboot of the Vampire Slayer franchise. However, for Mia Goth, who stars in the upcoming version, good things come to those who wait. Recently, the movie, which is still scheduled for November 27, 2025, I'm thinking at this point, y'all really need to change that date because I just don't think y'all are going to actually meet that deadline. But if y'all do, it's a miracle, especially when Mahershala Ali is currently overseas, I believe in Thailand, and he's supposed to be shooting in a bunch of other places. He's shooting the new Jurassic World movie with Scarlett Johansson. So it says recent movie, which is set for that is still scheduled for November 7th, 2025 theatrical release per the Comscore calendar, saw its second director, Yann Demange, exit. He followed Bassam Tariq's departure, who was previously set to helm for a fall 2022 production start. He remains aboard as an executive producer. Now, speaking to Deadline at the world premiere of her latest A24 movie, Maxine, which I definitely want to see, Goth said that she said the following in regards to the Blade delays. Now, we do have a clip of her on the red carpet giving her opinion on this upcoming Blade reboot. Now, please hold as we get to that clip.
Fans are very excited to see you making your MCU debut in Blade. Can you speak to any updates on that as far as production and your character in that?
Yeah, they really care. They do. They want to make a great movie. That's the sense that I get from them. And that feels good. Yeah.
Fans are very excited to see.
Now, I was going to say this. Did y'all notice that I guess I've never really heard Mia Goth speak besides the characters that she plays, but I'm like, I didn't realize she had an accent. But here's the thing. When I first heard that she was on board to play Lilith, who was basically a character who was known in the comics as a key supernatural villain. And the storyline is that she's trying to take the blood from Blade's daughter. So I don't know if they're necessarily going to follow with that storyline, if they're going to actually bring Blade's daughter into the maybe that actually would work, because when you look at Mahershala Ali, he definitely looks older. That is a different angle that they could take with that. I know one of my friends was telling me the other day that he started collecting comics and stuff, and he was like, are you really into like collecting comics? And I was never really into like collecting comics and reading comics, except when I was a kid. I used to hang out with this kid named Iman, and he would always have comic books and stuff. So to pass the time, I would read his comics. But I was more or less I'm more or less into comic book movies over the years, but it depends on the genre. Like, if it came down to it, and I have had ideas of where I want to create my own comic based on some character ideas that I have. And there's ways you could do it now. Now they got these old AI websites and stuff that you can create your own AI comic and stuff, but you could type something in and they create the drawings and everything for you and everything. Which I guess is great, because then you ain't got to pay nobody to draw the stuff. Although I would not mind collaborating the way Stan Lee did, where he would just write a synopsis, which I could definitely do. And then, the artists come up with the rest of, the work. They draw it out. And then you go in and based off of your synopsis, they come up with their own stuff. They draw out the photos, the pictures and all these other things of the characters. And then you just write in the little bubble, whatever it is that you want to write in regards to the dialogue. Which I have no problem doing because I'm a writer. So I actually like the idea of her being a part of this. And I don't mind if they do the whole Blaze daughter thing. I just want y'all to just come up with a good damn script. I just want some really cool action sequences. And I just want to know how y'all going to be able to figure out how we going to make vampires work in the world of the MCU. And I think the problem with the MCU stuff is that y'all always want to connect everything what already existed. I feel like we just need Blade to be its own standalone thing. And then possibly later on down the road, y'all can create your own Avengers type situation in the form of the Midnight Suns, which I'm really hoping that they introduce them down the road, because I would love to see a Midnight Suns. If y'all start out with Midnight Suns, that's not going to work, because if you are not a hardcore comic book reader, nobody knows who the Midnight Suns are. They tried to allude to it in Blade Trinity, with Hannibal King and Whistler's daughter and all that other stuff, but it's not, you have to build up Blade first, because Blade is a well-known IP that people are familiar with. Like I said, this year marks 20 years since Blade Trinity, which, I do not like that movie. There's parts of the film I like. I love Ryan Reynolds, and he was giving body yada yada throughout that film. And, he was a cackle, although some of them jokes was like, no. Cock juggling thunder cunt. I'm like, who came up with that stupid ass line? But nevertheless, I do remember it. So I guess maybe it worked. And Jessica Biel was Jessica Biel. She was giving what needed to be given. It was just, she was very good at handling a lot of the action sequences in that film. And Blade, Wesley Snipes looked like he did not want to be there making that movie. And we already know the behind the scenes stuff because Patton Oswalt spilled all the tea. If you've been watching a lot of interviews where he talks about it over the years, it's legendary. But I just want at this point them to figure out what the hell they're doing, because I do get it. It's like, yeah, when you say that the people behind the movie really care and that they want to make a great movie, isn't that the main idea when you go into making these movies, that you want to make a great movie? I would think nobody wants to go into they want to make a shitty film. I mean, I don't think Uber Bowl, even though his movies are god awful, goes in thinking, "Oh, I want to make a terrible movie." Or Michael Bay, with all the things he likes to just make 2-hour movies of just shit blowing up. I don't think he goes in thinking, I just want to make a shitty film, and then we just make a lot of money, snorting mountains of cocaine while he's saying it, allegedly. But I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's what he does, but a lot of time when you watch the movie, look like somebody just did a pound of drugs before they started shooting, because it's like, okay, I'm just seeing a lot of craziness going on, things blowing up, cars weaving in and out of the road, things flying everywhere, and it's like, okay, what's the story? What's the plot? So, and I think also we're so hard on the MCU because we've been spoiled by the MCU. The MCU has really had a great track record in regards of giving us great content. For the first, minus a couple, but for the first 3 phases, we've been pretty much spoiled by the MCU. Phase 4 was a mixed bag. There were things that were in there that was good. Shang-Chi I actually liked. I didn't mind the one with Brian Tyree Henry and Angelina Jolie, the Eternals. I didn't mind that much. I didn't think that was as bad as everybody's been trying to say. But Phase 4 was a mixed bag. But Phase 5 was like, y'all really need to show up and show out, especially after Bob Chapek, with the whole Disney Plus and all that other mess. So there's a lot riding on this. And to me, so far, I know a lot of people have been real critical of James Gunn and what's going on with the DCU. But I'm actually excited for what he's bringing. So far, the little clips, the things that I have seen of Superman, particularly David Corn Sweat's costume, I'm not upset about it. I've seen some people making comments. I did see that Bo DeMayo color corrected some of the footage that was seen, and it actually looked good. So I don't know why people are being critical. I say wait till the damn movie comes out before y'all say what it is that y'all want to say and be so damn critical. Y'all sit up in here and just criticize. Y'all ain't seen a lick of film. You haven't even seen the script. You haven't seen no kind of nothing. They're still filming the damn movie, and things don't always look the way they're supposed to look when you film a movie, which goes to show a lot of y'all criticize they never step foot on a damn movie set. So I'm excited for, I don't know why we went into a whole I know why we went into a whole Superman tangent. We went into a whole Superman tangent because it's like, so far I do, and I wholeheartedly, and I will go on record and say this because I've said it enough times, I truly believe in that we're going to get some good stuff coming out of James Gunn and the DCU. So I trust in what he's doing because he has a great track record and he's made a lot of amazing movies. Maybe a lot of y'all only know him from Guardians of the Galaxy, but I've been following James Gunn's career for a long time. Like, I love Slither. I love a lot of the movies that he's done. So I'm looking forward to what he's bringing with the whole Superman thing. And I love how he made Metropolis look. It looks very much out of the comic book and all these other things. So I'm excited for that. Now, in regards to Blade, that's why we're thinking also, MCU, y'all are slipping. So y'all need to figure it out. Hopefully you can make it work. And fingers crossed, we actually, like Deadpool, get an R-rated version of Blade. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Have you given up on the whole Blade situation? Are you here for what Mia Goth had to say? I'd rather they just take their time and figure out what they want to do, but they should have been figuring that out a long time ago. Like, where Blade fits in the MCU, how do y'all plan on bringing vampires into the fold? And what do y'all plan on doing with this story, this franchise? Like, y'all need to figure it out. Y'all should have had this thing figured out from the moment y'all brought out Mahershala and announced that he was going to be Blade. So let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. It's Jodie Comer, the star of Netflix Killing Eve, is going to be a huge star. Oh, yes, she is. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about her name. Damn, it was something I was like, what was it that she's supposed to be in? 28 Weeks Later, which I did hear that they announced the name of the one that Nia DaCosta is about to do, the sequel name, and I was like, I don't know. It didn't come from no reputable source. So I wasn't running with that. But I do agree that Jodie Comer, I like her. People are going to be hearing her name a lot, but I'm definitely curious as to see like what they're planning on doing her character in the upcoming 28 years later. I hope I said 28 years later before, because I could have sworn I said 28 weeks. 28 weeks later was Jeremy Renner, who, sidebar, I've just seen some photos of him in Men's Health, and sir, that body is bodying. I'm so glad that he's doing better, because once upon a time we almost lost him from that snowplow accident, and he's been persevering and getting his physical and everything back together. And he said he felt his brain pop. There was a thing about that with I was like, oh my God, like from what happened with that. So we don't even realize like the excessiveness of what happened to him and how he could have lost his life in that situation. But it just goes to show there was a higher power definitely looking out for him, and I'm glad he survived. And I've always liked Jeremy Renner as an actor, so I'm glad he's back. And exactly, take your time with Blade. So I know, but here's the thing. I'm here for them taking their time with Blade. I just need the MCU to stop giving release dates. Stop giving release dates on your films if your script is not ready, if you're not ready to film, if you don't have your locations online, and if you don't have a director. I'm sick of them with this. Oh yeah, we have a date for 2025 November. That's when we're going to release it. And then it's like you put these people in this space where it's like there's this pressure. So what if you need time for reshoots? What if you need time for okay, this is not working with the script, let's change stuff up real quick? Or the time that it takes for someone like a Mahershala Ali, because if you're going to do something where you're playing Blade, you think he's just going to show up on set and the stunt people going to do all the work? It's like you have to really put in that time. Like we'll use Keanu Reeves for John Wick. He goes into training for 3 months before y'all start shooting, and will still be training while he's filming the movies. He does his gun training, he does his his judo training and all the other things, that knife fighting and all that other stuff. So there's time that go into that, and a lot of times actors usually take about 3 months to get in that type of shape so they look like they could kick your ass in real life. So there needs to be room left for all that. So I'm just curious. It's like, okay, so I don't know how big Mahershala's role is in in Jurassic World, but I do hope that he has enough time to train all other shit. Quiet as he probably was training all these damn 5 years. Y'all had him on hold because he ain't been working. He been waiting for y'all. So there's that. But anyway, if I was in his situation, I literally would have a trainer that would be constantly like, I'm learning new stuff and that making it a part of my workout, so that when we go, it's like I know it, but like the back of my hand. Then Double A says, I always like Jeremy Renner. Renner is great. He is. And I would like to see him back in Mission Impossible, but it's like what he said with the whole thing of the amount of time that it takes for them to put those things together, because they build the script around a lot of those big set pieces, which is probably a lot of work. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about Kenya Moore Care, who apparently is unemployed. So Kenya, we were talking about how, the whole situation with Britney Edie, that, Kenya Moore was basically doing something regarding, I guess, launching her salon. Because that's in my opinion, that's the best thing that she could do. Just open up a salon, have a bunch of people working in it, and with the name Kenya Moore being attached, you're definitely going to bring in revenue in regards to that. Like, people will definitely come down there and, they'll come down there and be willing to get their hair did. So I think that was a good venture for her to go into, and I'm sure we will see Team Twirl on our TV screens in the future. But they said she was suspended indefinitely, which I was like, girl, y'all done fired her. Or they would say she was put on pause, whatever you want to call it. It's like, it's funny how y'all always try to sugarcoat the shit. Just say her ass was fired. And we all knew, like, when y'all were doing a whole suspension thing because they want to look into whatever was going on, that she was going to end up no longer being a part. I knew she was getting fired. So it came out last night that she's officially been fired from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And they're talking about it was amicable, but yeah, I don't believe it. First of all, I didn't believe it from the beginning, because Miss Twirl was all over social media talking about that what they saying happened didn't happen. And now the word on the street is that she's exploring taking legal action and officially won't film for the rest of the season, after she posted footage of, at her event, of Britney Edie giving a baloney wash to some unidentified man where everybody was clutching their pearls. And they said the only one that actually stayed, because all the other girls were disgusted and they walked out, they said the one that stayed was Drew Sidora. But of course she was going to stay. She's going to stay for her screen time. She may not give y'all nothing when she up there, but she want her screen time, and she fought hard to get that, to keep that peach. So it says the reality star has been put on pause. Sure, I didn't know put on pause. She was fired. This is deadline with that. Amid an investigation after filming a scene where she displayed sexual images of Britney. Now, according to a report by TMZ, Moore was not fired by Bravo, and the network is keeping the door open to have her return in the future. However, another source tells TMZ the network didn't discuss that opinion for now. I mean, that option for now. So Bravo didn't fire her. They're saying they're keeping the door open, but the source is saying the network didn't discuss that option. So which one is it? It sounds like y'all were all backpedaling over there. I sound like y'all did fire her. Y'all don't want to say y'all fired her. And now the word on the street is that she's reportedly considering her legal options. Now, the incident occurred while filming RHOA Season 16 at an event promoting one of Moore's business ventures. According to videos of the event shared online, things took a turn when sexually explicit images of Edie were displayed. When the scandal went viral on social media, Moore took the Instagram and posted, "Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. The truth always comes to light." Now, Moore also defended herself from claims that she engaged in revenge pee as she allegedly shared publicly available images. She said, "I would never engage in revenge pee. I have never distributed private images or footage of anyone, nor solicited images owned by others to use or threaten or blackmail." Moore shared on Twitter. Said, "I've always been vindicated. I can't talk about story, even with people planning fake news." Because apparently I believe this all came out from media fake out. So look at Fred and them over there actually getting a story accurate for once. Because quiet as it's kept, y'all stay over there laying low and spreading a lot of lies. But me, based off of hearing all this, I don't think I'm watching this season. But look, B. Scott got the tea chair, and now we're going to read what they said over there. So they said not only has Kenya been barred from filming the rest of the season, but the network is figuring out how to cut her from what's been filmed already so that she doesn't appear in season 16 at all. Now, contrary to other reports, sources exclusively tell B. Scott that there have been no talks between Kenya and the network about her returning for future seasons of other projects, and there won't be. So now you got on one hand people over here saying, "Oh, the door is always open for her to return." If that was the case, then why fire her? Y'all could have just kept her there. I don't even think, I guess that she might not even appear on The Traitors, because The Traitors is an NBC Universal show, and a lot of the housewives appear over there. I would have loved to have seen Kenya appear on a show like The Traitors, but it basically seems like she won't be. Or maybe they will put her on like season 5 or 6 when this whole thing is blown over and everybody done forgot. You know how they like to do. They try to act like, oh yeah, years have passed, so we can move on and stuff, and then we'll put them on there because everybody done moved on. But there's always only somebody on social media that remind you of what somebody did 15 years ago and still hold it over their head. Now, this says that RHOA is in the middle of a reboot season with Moore alongside Drew Sidora, and they also have Portia on there. They're talking about they're trying to find out a way. Oh, what was the other thing that they said? They said that with Kenya out, the network's plan for her and Portia to anchor the newbies has been completely ruined. The door is open for other cast members like Sheree and Phaedra to return to help finish out the season, but that hasn't been discussed this time. Honestly, I think that's what y'all need to do. I feel like Portia is not enough to save the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's not interesting enough to carry that show. And to me, with all the stuff between her and that queen she married, Miss Simon, and them teeth, with all that shit coming out with him and in his mouth, because he want a peach so damn bad. The blogs is the ones that's out here pushing all that stuff versus the show. So I feel like the blogs talking about what, them playing tit for tat on social media is way more entertaining than whatever it is she's planning on bringing to her return to the Housewives. Kenya is, say what you want about Kenya. I know a lot of people don't particularly care for her, but Kenya gives good TV and we can't take that away from her. So seeing Kenya come back to the show would have definitely been great. They're talking about trying to cut out Kenya like she didn't exist. I think that is a mistake. I feel like what y'all need to do is, especially with all this other stuff going on, if Kenya said that this is not what happened, then if y'all got the footage, the way they go back, roll the tape, as they love to do when they do these housewife shows. Roll back the footage, roll the tape. You said that this is not what you said. They got it on film, and then they roll it, and then the people out here be looking like a damn liar because footage doesn't lie for the most part. So put up the episode. Not because, well, A, because I'm nosy and I want to see what went down, but also so that way we have context as to why Kenya was let go from the show, that they don't tolerate this stuff, and then have the girls film a scene where they talk about it. Y'all gonna have to break the fourth wall in this situation. I'm sorry. I know y'all trying to do a regular show like something, but it's gonna be a hot ass mess because this cloud is lingering over the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So for y'all to just remove it altogether from the show, in my opinion, it's stupid and is a mistake. And I feel like if y'all want them ratings to go, if you want people to come and watch the show, especially because y'all can play it up to that moment. See, why I gotta tell people how to produce a damn show? It's like y'all don't know what the fuck y'all doing over there. Put it in the episode. So build it up to that moment. Let the girls come in and have that was crazy what Kenya did. I can't believe she did what she did. And then y'all can give your opinion on whether you feel like she should be fired or not. But then of course, maybe they're not going to do that because a lot of these girls, they want to keep their job. So they don't want to go against Bravo. Like y'all can't have a life outside of that damn network. I'd have been like, you know what? Bravo don't make or break me as a person or as a celebrity or personality, whatever. I'm gonna still be able to go out here and do what I'm doing. Or they probably feel like they're gonna do to them what they did to Nene Leakes. But Nene Leakes got a job on Lifetime hosting a show that nobody's gonna watch because I was like, this is what y'all using her powers for? Her sidebar, I did hear Nene Leakes was supposed to host a talk show on Zeus. I'm like, first of all, ill. Number one, Zeus, ill. And then number two, I'm like, who's she going to interview? All them nobodies from baddies? Like, what celebrities going on Lemmy's network? Promoting Negro nonsense. But anyway, so I do think that what y'all going to have to do is y'all going to have to call Sheree. She got her doctorate. Yeah, that was a read. She got her honorary doctorate. And Phaedra, to me, I don't understand why she's on Married to Medicine. This is the perfect time to bring her back to the Housewives. Candy ain't there no more. So bring Phaedra on. Y'all gonna have to back up the bring truck. Y'all are desperate at this point. So y'all need to bring on Sheree. Even though Sheree really don't be bringing it, but y'all need to bring her on because she's familiar. Phaedra, she definitely will bring good TV. So you need to bring her back. And they're talking about Cynthia Bailey is filming as a friend. So maybe y'all need to promote her too, even though Cynthia don't really be giving nothing when it comes to situations. So that's what y'all need to do. And then, of course, if you could look from the neighborhood talk, shortly after the firation, Team Twirl went and said, "You are the best fans anyone could ever ask for, and I love you so very much, always and forever." Gossip Girl. I'm joking. So, people in the comments, they was always talking about that Kenya has an evil spirit, and this time it backfired on her. What she did was malicious and vile. Nene said you never win when you play dirty, and she ain't lied yet. Kenya deserved to be fired, and I don't take joy in anyone losing their livelihood, but what she did was terrible. First of all, it's a damn show. Y'all created this damn monster. So I'm not all that upset with her. Yeah, she allegedly posted Revenge P, but how do you go and create a monster? You tell them, oh, we need y'all to do stuff for the sake of a storyline and get people interested in watching the show. And then now she went a little too far. Now you want to be like, okay, now you're fired because you did too much. And it's sort of like, I don't know. I need to know what's going on with this whole thing. So I need Kenya to come out and tell her side of the story. And if they do decide to keep the stuff in there and reveal it, then Kenya needs to go on her social medias and reveal what had happened in that situation so that we get more context. Because, at the end of the day, NBC Universal and Bravo, they all going to protect themselves at the end of the day. They don't care about a lot of these talents on here. Y'all are all irreplaceable. You all can be replaced. I don't understand why y'all think that at any point, like, y'all are all protected by Andy Cohen. Y'all can all go at any time for any little thing that y'all do over there. We've seen it happen time and time again. But I've seen people say, like, well, how come, Jen Aiden does what she does and stuff over there and get to keep her damn job, putting her hands on another cast member, which got her had the shit slapped out of her with a glass because Danielle slapped the life out of her because she pushed her. But she get to keep her job. And Tom Sandoval allegedly posting Revenge P from what was it? Was it Ariana? No, it was Raquel, and he get to keep his job, but Kenya get to get fired. So it's like a lot of people, of course, they're gonna bring up the race thing and say, oh, because it's a black woman. here y'all go. Y'all always want to go down this. But I truly think that a lot of this also plays into the fact that Bravo is in so many litigations, dealing with so many legal situations right now, they can't afford another damn lawsuit. Well, look, if Kenya is weighing her options, then you better add another one to y'all belt. Because, we got Leah McSweeney's lawsuit, we got Caroline Manzo's lawsuit, we got the Reality Reckoning, which I don't know what happened with that with Bethany, and now we got this thing going on with Kenya Moore. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are y'all happy that King is gone? Are y'all mad that Teen Twirl is no more going to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16? Or are you at a point where you don't even care about Real Housewives of Atlanta? They could just throw that show in the ocean with the rest of the damn housewives. That Housewives is war at its welcome. Y'all could care less. Or now that King is not part of the show, now y'all think the show's going to be boring and nobody cares. Because these new girls on here, it's like, I don't know them. I don't know necessarily what they could bring. And then it's not, these new girls, y'all are not enough for me to want to come in and want to watch y'all. And no shade, but Portia, you're not even enough to get me to want to watch you on this season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So you people over there at RHOA, y'all need to figure out what y'all need to do if y'all going to say this franchise or scrap it all together. But either whatever y'all opinions are, let me know in the comments down below. Now, speaking of comments, we got a lot on this subject. Let's scroll on up and see what is brewing from the people. They said, Lord Kenya, my God, the dead has arisen. That just popped in my head when I see my God. So it said that woman does not know when to stop and leave people alone. But you know what? They live for the stunts and shows that Kenya is, the scepter, the fan, the popping of the fan, all the little stunts. Like they've been encouraging that until that time. Portia beat her ass at the reunion and dragged her literally. They live for the stuff that she does. They've created this monster. So it's funny how like Bravo all of a sudden want to act like they got a moral code. They said her child support doc reflected that she was making close to $90K a month through Bravo. And I don't know what's going to happen now because I think that, I read something? I may have to look into that Marcus got to pay her some money. And they can't speak nasty of each other in the press. It's her salon is never open. It's located in Chambliss, Georgia, but the salon is a front for her to film. Her production company, not Kenya, is on the lease for the salon. She was just using. Oh, I can believe it. That a lot of times, y'all, and this is what I hate with these reality shows. If y'all really gonna open a salon or whatever the case is, then really open a salon and stop being fake and phony for these cameras. And I think that's why a lot of people are falling out of love with a lot of these reality shows because reality shows ain't real. I mean, I could have told y'all that. A lot of it is all, it's improvised television. That's what I call it. I don't know why we call it reality TV. It's improvised. It's basically they set people up as like, okay, Kenya, you're going to do a scene with Portia at this restaurant, and y'all going to have a conversation about what happened between Drew and Sheree and this other, and the chick that she had sucking dick in the thing, whatever her damn name was, Britney. So that's what that's basically what they do in a lot of these reality shows. And then a lot of times when they talk about they own businesses, just like when you watch Love and Hip Hop, I'm in a studio making music, but we're the music. So y'all basically up in here setting up fake ass, music sessions for music we ain't gonna hear, except in a scene for Love and Hip Hop. So that's why I can't with these reality. A lot of them are so damn fake and overproduced now. No way she is suing so she could open her business, a personal life open to discovery. Well, yeah, and then also, so look, so now if the salon is not a real thing, she better make it open. She better make it real if she want to make some money. She is never going back to Bravo. Apparently, they were already pressed for her interview with Carlos King. King just knows how to burn bridges. Actually, I will say this: her interview with Carlos is good. And Carlos, you really want to be petty? You better get Teen Twirl on one of your shows, because quiet as it's kept, you could use a little rejuvenation on the Love and Marriage shows or whatever you conjure. Were any of y'all watching one of those, that show? Love and Marriage, Huntsville, or whatever. Like, is anybody watching that? Is anybody watching Bold and Bougie with old girl that used to be on Malaysia from Basketball Wives and Manika? Usher's ex-wife. That's what I be calling, because the bitch do look like a man. So, Is anybody over there watching that show? Because I heard about Bold and Bougie, but I ain't seen not one episode. Nor have I seen people really like. I've never seen a trend. I haven't heard people talking about it. I heard they came out with a spinoff of Basketball Wives. I heard they canceled that. Like nobody was watching it. I said, so maybe what's happening is that this whole ensemble cast of middle-aged women, socialite types. Maybe people maybe people don't care anymore. I think people like my mother watch those shows where it's just like, it's a show that you stuck out for a million years. So it's just, you put it on, but you're not really watching it. I just have it on in the background while I'm playing solitaire. Like, I think that's what a lot of people kind of give when they watch those type of shows. So yeah, I don't particularly care for those shows, but yeah, I'm not really that like hearing this news now. I'm not really that excited for the Housewives of Atlanta, and if they don't include that footage, then it's definitely this season is a job. Because I figured she was guilty when she tried to gaslight us by saying she would never leak private images while knowing full well those images weren't private. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't private images because number one, it's like you always got to read between the lines of what people say. And sometimes, a lot of time, people will snitch on themselves without even realizing it. And it's like, yeah, um, they weren't private. If it's on the internet, it exists. And I've also feel it's late. It is very late and tired when people get on social media and they're trying to slut shame. It's like at this point, who doesn't have sexual footage on social media these days, especially Gen Z, like or even millennial. Like I just think now at this day and age, everybody has a OnlyFans. Well, just about everybody got an OnlyFans. People are posting videos of them going down on people. Like I've seen so many of my friends on Twitter on OnlyFans engaging in sexual acts and things of that nature, or posting news of themselves. Like this is the new norm right now. So when you got people like Kenya trying to make fun of people for giving baloney washes on social media, it's late. It's not that shocking. Maybe it would be shocking to people who watch TV and don't really engage in the world like we do with the social media and stuff. But people probably like my parents' age or whatever will probably be, oh my God, I can't believe she would do that. It's like, it's whatever. Saying that she plays with semantics, but oh well, that is Kenya. No charade. I agree, because it was like I was looking at that, so it was like, yeah, we don't need charade. Tarjay put Jennifer's you to my handle for Lopez under $10. She ain't yeah. Well, we're about to get in the handle for in a second. They said that's bad when they're selling vinyl. The normal 80s price is of $7.99. Not watching Carlos King Productions. I don't think anybody watch him. Like I watch Carlos King if he has something. It depends on like what celebrity news and gossip. Like if he's interviewing somebody, I'll watch him. I know I think the last person that he interviewed was Tamar. I wanted to get into the whole Tamar thing, but I didn't care enough. Oh yeah, you are talking about Hannaford. So apparently, they said the is it 3-time clearance or $3 clearance? Hold on, let me zoom in and see. Oh, so yeah, this is me now is $7.99 in the clearance rack at Target. So that's what he was. Let me be shady and post this on social media. Oh, I saw that you sent me the whole thing that the Grammys' new rule tweaks mean for the dance electronic community. We'll have to save that story for tomorrow because I want to do a deep dive and really look into that. So I'm not going to add that to the docket right now, but I did see that you, Robert, as well. You said that to me also. So, we'll talk about that tomorrow because I think you said that had something to do with Beyonce's Renaissance. Well, I just saw that T.S. Madison, congratulations to her. She just got she won her Emmy for Cozy. So that's another notch on her belt that she's winning all these awards and being, acknowledged for her hard work and contributions as a Black trans woman, even though, people continuously try to count her out. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about Jennifer. Because, it's always got to be, I can't even call her the other name. JLo, Jennifer, it's Jennifer. So There's a lot of tea we got on Jennifer. So we got to talk about her finally giving up on that marriage. So it's only a matter of time before she files for divorce. And then we're going to get into this whole thing about everybody making a big deal about her flying commercial. So even though she's been putting on an unconvincing front by living her best life in Italy, it looks like Jennifer Lopez is finally accepting her fate as Ben Affleck's divorce becomes imminent. Now, according to Radar Online, fed up Jennifer Lopez has finally decided to kick Ben Affleck to the curb and bid him good riddance. Because in that old song, she throwing on her Louboutins, child. Remember when she did that song? Throwing on my Louboutins? Which originally was a Brandy track, but then she wound up recording it. In case y'all didn't know that. So it says, insiders revealed the diva was over trying to save her disastrous marriage. Now, as previously reported, the 54-year-old This Is Me Now singer was desperately trying to say, This Is Me Now, on the verge of divorce, was desperately trying to save her relationship after Ben, 51, threw in the towel months ago because he's a pussy ass who love bombed her and wanted to be in that relationship, but I guess maybe the adrenaline was running. That was like his high. Jennifer Lopez, that Puerto Rican coochie, it got some Bustelo or something on them lips or whatever that, because he addicted to the coffee. So that's why I had to throw in the Bustelo situation. So it's like you going down on that labia minora and the majora, and it's laced with that good old Bustelo, and then that high was just taking over him, and all of a sudden that high done wore down, and he's like, what the fuck am I doing? I thought I was in love. I think I wanted to be in a relationship with Jennifer, and now the high's worn down. I'm on my, I'm detoxing through the coffees, and he going through his coffee enema cleanse. They had those too. So now he don't want to work on the marriage, which I could have sworn when y'all get up there, you breeders that love to take advantage of the whole marriage situation, for better for worse, for richer for poor. What happened to that? Didn't y'all say that in your vows when y'all got married in Vegas and then remarried again in a bigger ceremony? For better for what happened to that? Anyway. So it says in June 2023, the couple who wed in 2022, 2 decades after called off their original engagement, plunked down $60 million for a Beverly Hills mansion. But less than a year later, the Batman hunk ditched Jenny from the block and moved into a $100,000 per month rental near his 52-year-old ex-wife, Jennifer Garner. At first, JLo was willing to do anything to get him to come home, but it was just pointless, the source told Radar Online. She's now telling friends she's over trying. Now, despite the embarrassing split, Jennifer has been putting on a brave face, and the pair have been doing the best to keep things friendly for the sake of the kids. Well, these kids ain't dumb. So there's no point of putting on a brave face. And I'm sure that Max, Emmy, Serafina, Samuel, and the other child, I'm sure they all got social media and some friends in school who are talking about this. Now, on June 16, Jennifer went on social media to share a Father's Day message for Ben, calling him our hero, but the tribute was said to be pure damage control, according to the source. The other child's name is Violet. I don't know why I couldn't remember. So, Jennifer's 6-year-old twins, Maxie and Emmy. Emmy and Max, who she shares with ex-husband Mark Anthony, have bonded with Ben's kids, Violet 18, Finn 15, and Samuel 12. The insider, I forgot, because one of the children changed their name, because I believe, like Jennifer, which some people get mad when I talk about it, but if that's the way the child's living their life, we're going to talk about it. I believe Ben and Jen Garner have a non-binary child similar to Jennifer with Emmy. And not only that, but Jennifer's sister has a non-binary child. Shout out to the non-binary community. Happy Pride Month to all of you. It's coming to an end come Sunday. That's the big day. But anyway, so they say it's all about image right now, especially on her side, supposing that was calculated and not some sign that they were working things out. This is what a bowl explained. She's very clear she's giving up hope for a miracle. She said it didn't work out, but not going to miss his bad habits like his chain smoking and his junk food binges. That's another thing too. With all the smoking he does, with all the coffee drinking, sometimes I be wondering, what does his breath smell like? Because I'm sitting there like, all that coffee, that cigarettes, that shit, first of all, your mouth be stinking when you drink coffee and cigarettes. This is why it's like you got to constantly be brushing your teeth. And then You talking about he eats junk food, which is totally the opposite of what Jennifer Lopez is about. She's all about fitness and eating right and maintaining her beauty because she is a brand. Whereas Ben is just that regular guy from Boston. Is he from Boston or is it just some part of Massachusetts? I don't necessarily know if he's from Boston per se, but I know he is from Massachusetts. And he's just like a regular blue collar guy. And to me, it's just like, you know what? Ben, you're not off the hook in all of this. So now we could just sit and bash Jennifer and call her egomaniacal, that she's self-absorbed, self-serving. I mean, and you know, all those things I'm sure are true. And I don't think she's made any qualms about denying any of that. I mean, we've seen it with our own eyes, how narcissistic she is, but that's always been her situation. But with him, it's just like, are you slow? Because when you got with her, you knew the type of girl that Jennifer Lopez was, and she's not going to change who she is. I mean, I get that, you know, in relationships, it's about compromise and all that other stuff. But if you was expecting a stay-at-home wife while you was off being Mr. Breadwinner, Mr., you know, two-time Oscar-winning filmmaker, actor, writer, all that stuff, and you thought you was going to get stay-at-home wife from Jennifer, I don't know what alternate universe. I don't know if you've been watching way too many episodes of Dark Matter over there on Apple Plus, but this ain't the universe that you live in. You might as well go in there in one of them machines and go to a universe where there is a Jennifer that wants to be, you know, the Meghan Trainor Ain't Your Mama music video where she dressed up as the Susie Homemaker type. If that's what you was looking for, then it's time for you to step into an alternate universe and look for that Jennifer. But in this universe, that ain't the Jennifer that you was getting married to or that you was getting with. So if you really thought she was going to change who she was in that context and stop her bag, because God forbid anything happens with y'all divorcing or whatever, when she did play into whatever it was that you wanted her to play into, then, you know, if I had to stop my bag for you, there would be some resentment there. I'm sorry. But it's like I've had to work my ass off to get where I'm at without, you know, well, I wouldn't say without the help of a man, because there's been a lot of men who have helped Jennifer get where she is. Tommy Mottola with the music, Diddy with the music, so many other people with the music. In regards to like the acting careers, like yeah, she worked her ass off to get where she's at. But it's to me also seemed like when she got with Ben, it was also, you know, as a way for, you know, maybe her getting taken seriously as a Hollywood actress. Now, speaking of PR, you know, there was a story that came out about Jennifer flying coach and, you know, sitting amongst us regular commoners on the plane instead of her being in first class on a private jet or a private plane. So, you know, she's trying to become super relatable amid her marital woes with Affleck, getting back to her Jenny from the Block roots with some commercial air travel. So she was spotted boarding a commercial flight to Paris over the weekend, just weeks after pulling the plug on her tour. Now, in images obtained by TMZ, and I'm gonna show y'all in a second, the Love Don't Cost a Thing hitmaker was seen sitting in coach on a KLM flight from Naples to Paris. So y'all know she's been in Naples, Italy on boats and things of that nature because she's been trying to live her best life. She's on vacation. She's trying to get over Ben with all this. But if you're trying to get over him, I would be trying to work on myself and moving on from that situation instead of taking selfies of myself, knowing the paparazzi's out there taking pictures. So I would purposely put myself in situations for paparazzis to get their shots of me showing like I can do bad by myself. I don't need him no more. You know, that sort of thing. JLo, put it in a song. Instead of you wasting all this time trying to make us believe that you found your Prince Charming, maybe this is the shit that you need to rebound and write those He Broke My Heart songs. You need your kiss off track. That's what you need. You need a song where it's like, fuck that motherfucker. He did me wrong. And now I want to read him for points through my music. That's what you should be doing. You should be channeling all this energy into being an artist. She talking about she wasn't inspired. The negative stuff that you go through in life, to me, that's the motivator. It's always hard to try to write songs when you're happy or you're in a good place, because everybody can relate to heartbreak. So if you're really trying to get back in the good graces of the people, you need to come back with them songs, but also give us some dance pop bops. And so that's what you need to do if you want to get back in the good graces of the people. Now, Sunny Hostin, one of my favorite girls from The View, she weighed in on this outside. She was leaving the show. I think she was leaving the show or coming in. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking she was probably leaving the show for the day. She was signing autographs. One of the TMZ people was outside, and she weighed in on, the whole situation and gave her thoughts in regards of what she thinks this whole situation with Hennifer is making her humble. So I do want to play that clip, and we're going to go to the TMZ website where she gave her thoughts on Hennifer being a humble Jenny from the block. Please hold.
Sunny, how did you feel about, JLo flying commercial? I mean, I know that's like an interesting topic, but people were pretty shocked to see her flying on a regular plane. Was that kind of humanizing her and letting us know?
I thought it humanized her. We've all flown coach. I still fly coach. And she had her bodyguard and she had her purse with her as well. So she had the whole row in coach. So she's still Jenny from the block. I like that.
I mean, just gonna put it out there. Is this kind of her trying to relate after there were memes of people saying, "Oh, we can't relate to JLo anymore."
I don't think so. I think she's Jenny from the block.
That's how publicity starts.
That's what the Bronx is about.
So shout out to Miss Hostin. I live for you, Sonny, but I'm going to have to disagree with you on this. I do not think that her flying coach is humanizing her. I feel like it's the same situation we talked about before with the whole thing with her in bed and the whole writing on Instagram about him being an amazing dad and all this other stuff. It's performative. It doesn't feel authentic. Like there's a lot of celebrities who ride commercial on a plane. I've seen many of celebrities where it's like, okay, you're on a commercial flight and you see regular celebrities and stuff in your aisles or whatever, and like it's no big deal. So I don't understand why everybody's making a big deal about Jennifer, riding commercial. Then it's like, oh yeah, it humbles her. No, it doesn't. It does not make her come across as humble. And I think that's another issue that people have with her. People feel like Hennifer is not getting it. That she doesn't know, like she just doesn't. Just be yourself. I think that's what everybody wants. People just like, you keep someone, I'm still Jenny from the block. I'm just like you. I'm regular, whatever. And I know it had to take every part of her to want to even do that commercial flight thing, even though I'm sure her team talked her into it. Because she gives me very much out of touch with the world and everything. And if they kept saying, oh, she don't care, she's still living her best. Hennifer cares. Trust and believe. She want to act like she don't care. She cares about her reputation. And her reputation has been tarnished a lot lately because of the TikTok videos and a lot of people on social media who've been going in on her talking about how she is not relatable and how she looks down upon regular people, especially in the service industry. So I could understand if you had but then she had the whole row. She had her bodyguard. So I'm sure when she was in that row, I need people to fan out. If y'all was on that flight with her, was she nice to the people on the plane? Was she engaging when the stewardess came around or the flight attendant? Sorry, because I know people get offended with stewardess. When the flight attendant came around and was like, what can I get you anything? And you've heard the stories about Hennifer, how she will look right through you. She will tell the assistant to tell them, oh, I want this, instead of you telling them yourself. It's like, I don't need my assistant, my publicist, none of them to speak for me. If I want a drink, I'm gonna look directly at you because I was raised right. Sorry. I don't know who raised her, Guadalupe and David, but child, y'all did a horrible ass job. Because if your daughter's running around here being a nuisance and disrespectful to regular people, when once upon a time she was one before she became a celebrity, it's not like she was a Nepo baby and she came into these circumstances because it was handed down to her, or she was just some wealthy Julia Roberts type. It's like, no. Or had connections. You was just a regular Puerto Rican chick from New York City who was in the right place at the right time. So learn to humble yourself. So I'm not buying this whole humility thing with her. And I think, so in case y'all didn't see it, that's the picture of her on the commercial flight sitting up by the window. And I guess that's a way for her to be like, you know what, she's off in the corner, nobody can mess with her. She's, and I'm glad somebody snapped her picture, but it looked like she's asleep. And she was going to Paris Fashion Week, where I will say that she she looked good when she was in some of the outfits that I saw of her. I think I might have one of them up here. Oh yeah, this is one. I was like, oh, this is a cute look. So yeah, this is one of the outfits that she was wearing when she was there. I was trying to see if I could expand it in that context. But yeah, she looks good here. Shout out to you, Hannaful. Hopefully you work your situation out. But girl, if you and the other one, Ben, don't work out, I do think at this point, y'all just need a divorce. And after the divorce, you need to move on and not jump into another relationship. You need to spend time with yourself. You get to, center yourself, get to know your who you are as a person, and don't depend on this man or a man to define who you are as a person. So hopefully Hannaful will learn to humble herself and actually become relatable to people instead of thinking like, well, I'm guessing this is how you act when you try to be nice or do this, that, and the other in front of other people, because people aren't buying into it. And sorry, I'm not buying into it either. So I know, Sonny, you want the best for Hannaful because you truly believe that they're in love and she loves love, and she goes hard, even though they be giving her the side eye on The View. Like, she goes hard for Jen and Ben when they're on The View, and I was like, girl, that marriage is doomed. So let's stop trying to pretend like, this is not, this relationship is coming to an end. But I say all this because I had to unpack all of that. What do you guys think of this story? Do you really think that she is relatable and that her flying commercial makes her relatable? Like, oh, she's just like one of us. And I know she's not hurting for money, but maybe, this was just a stunt for her to be able to, oh wait, and I think I also had, I think there was also footage of her that I forgot to show y'all of her at the airport. So I want to show y'all that real quick, and then we'll move on. So yeah, there was footage of her at the airport, and it was pointed out that there she is getting off the plane. Is she wearing a bathrobe? So there she is. All right, daughter. So everybody got to have a little JLo spotting, the other situation. But I just want to know the tea on how she was when she was going through customs and all that other stuff, and how she was treating the people over in France, because she went and did, she did a couple of the runway shows, where she took in a couple of runway shows and all that other stuff. Because I know there's been a lot of celebrities that's been out here doing runway shows. Venus and Serena were doing runway stuff. Bad Bunny performed at one of them, but it's like nobody was really talking about it. I guess nobody cared. Because it was just a lot going on. I think particularly with Taylor Swift and what she's been doing over in London. And we're about to get into that in our next story right after this one. But let's focus on this. So let me know what you guys think of this story down below. Now, speaking of comments, we do have a lot. I'm Bustelo. I saw how he was going down on that coochie, and it was laced with Bustelo, child. That was like, I had to throw that in there because, Ben is addicted to his coffee. We see him always in Dunkin' Donuts. Child, I like Dunkin' Donuts, but their coffee is not all that you need to be in there every damn day drinking that shit. They said that's why it didn't work, because she wants to be in the spotlight always. And it's like, you know what? And Ben has to understand that. It's like, Ben is not someone who I get it, you're an actor, but you don't like all the pomp and circumstance of everything, and that's fine. But don't go and get in a relationship with someone who is your polar opposite. It's the same thing I said about Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner. Now, if Timothy Chalamet is an actor who likes the art of the craft, but doesn't like all the media attention, don't get in a relationship with someone who loves media attention, but doesn't have any craft in regards of acting, performing, that sort of thing. Their whole brand is, look at me, I'm glamorous. Wait, why are we talking about Wakanda? And it said, oh, you said what? So, yeah, it is performative and not authentic. And that's what it's kind of been bothering. It's like, it didn't come across as authentic to me. It just felt fake. She comes across as fake, probably had to be medicated. Chill. Could you imagine? I said, hell, I tip $50 to be 50%, $50. 50% to Waffle House. Show love, be cool. These people are serving you your food. I want to tip and be cool. So go to places where you will get good services. When it comes to restaurants and things of that nature, I think I have a tendency of over tipping too, because I understand what it's like working in the service industry. So I'm all for tip in and all that other stuff. So I don't understand people who kind of thumb their nose up at these service workers because they work hard and quiet as a cat. I don't want these people spitting in my food, so I'm always extra nice. I don't want them throwing my my filet mignon. I don't want y'all throwing my good old medium well steak on the floor and rubbing it, flipping it over on the ground, and then putting it back on the plate and throwing a couple of seasonings and toppings and stuff on it. So I don't know what I was doing to my food in the back. So this is why I'm extra nice to service people, because I want my shit to be on point. She is regular because she slept her way. Ooh, allegedly. Lopez was with Keenan Ivory Wayans, Wesley Snipes, and of course Puff. And yeah, not be surprised. Throughout the 90s, she has never been alone. No, she hasn't. We've never seen her alone. And we've talked about this enough times on the show, especially I remember when, Felix would talk about it and, a couple other people. Like, she said that, oh, yeah, I've had moments of, being by myself. And then when I had to learn to love myself, that's when that was what she was trying to tell us. But that was it documentary? I never got around to watch the documentary because I was so cringed out by the movie musical. She was like, and I know she is pissed. I know she wishes she never put her $20 million behind that. You should have listened to them people that told you, don't do it. She was adamant. She risked her $20 million and look what happened. Now you're on the verge of divorce and a career rejuvenation. So I don't think she's ever been alone. So I'm going to agree with that. We've never seen Jennifer by herself. And so what I think of the story is she is ridiculous, needs to finish raising her children. Child, I just hope. Did somebody say on the show they think that Jennifer's kids going to end up on drugs? But I hope not. I hope they don't end up where there's like a lifetime of therapy because, their mother was a grade A narcissist. And then on top of that, I don't know how much of an influence Mark Anthony has in his kid's life. So I'm curious about that too. But anyway, speaking of The View, let's move on and let's talk about a former co-host of The View, Nutmeg McCain, who has a lot to say about Taylor Swift. So now she is convinced that Taylor Swift may be messing with karma. Now, on her Citizen McCain podcast, the host shared her real feelings on the popular global superstar Monday, claiming Swift has nowhere else to go but down at this point. Now, McCain, 39, mentioned that Swift, whose relationship with Travis Kelce has dominated headlines for months because of white media, was Time Magazine's Person of the Year in 2023 before pointing to the singer's incredibly successful and long-running Eras tour. She says, I do think when she's done touring, giving us a mild break from her being in the news cycle as much as she is would be helpful for her and us as commentators, the former View host explained, co-host. She said, I feel like I'm living in this Groundhog Day of Trump, Biden, Taylor Swift, Trump, Biden, Taylor Swift. Those are the only topics that Americans are allowed to talk about in the news all day long. And I think for her, a little bit of a beat will be good. Now, I got to stop there before I forget what I'm about to say. I disagree. First of all, you saying that that's what we pundits, no, that's what y'all talk about. Because, if y'all watch this show and many other shows, I'm sure, we don't be up in here talking about Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and Taylor Swift. The only time I talk about Taylor Swift on this show is it pertains to something that's interesting like this topic that I'm getting into. But other than that, I don't care what that lady is over there doing. I don't listen to her music. She don't move me one way. She don't move my needle one way or the other. I find her boring. I find her bland. But y'all like it. If you like it, I love it. But for me, she ain't for me. She is not. She don't give me my life with the music. Now, people I like Billie Eilish. I like Charli XCX. I do like some of Sabrina Carpenter's music because I wasn't really familiar with her. But lately, because I've been hearing from her so much, I've been hearing a lot of her songs. Like her songs have been in rotation. Like when I listen to, the shuffling on my Apple Music, a Sabrina Carpenter song will pop up. If I'm working out of the gym, I'll say, ooh, sing this song. This is cute. So I'll hear it. And Chapel Roan I've been getting into. And, I told you I worked the 3 out of the 4 Olivia Rodrigo shows at, and funny enough, her and Chapel Roan, I believe, her and Chapel Roan, I believe they share a producer. So, I think what's his name? Dan Nider. So yeah, they share a producer. So there's a common factor with that. And I got into Olivia Rodrigo's music because I've heard her music from me working her shows at the Garden, which she does put on a good show. And they were saying like it's been since Olivia Rodrigo, there has not really been a artist that has broken out into this next generation of like up and coming pop artist, legend, icon, like someone who really has a potential to have a long lasting career. We're starting to see it now with Charli XCX. We're starting to see it, even though she's been putting in the work for 10 years. We're starting to see it with Sabrina Carpenter, who has put out numerous albums over the years. They are just now finding out because the music is catching on and people are feeling what she's doing. And the same thing with Chappell Roan. Chappell Roan is someone who we look at as like, she definitely gives a good, not only good music, but she's an amazing live performer too. And I know everybody was looking at the internet and all that other stuff. It's like, oh yeah, these people that's making music in their bedroom, that's cute or whatever. But if y'all can't captivate an audience when y'all are live, your career is not going to last. You got to be able to put on a live show. You can't just put shit out on Spotify and Apple Music and just hope that you're going to have Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Madonna type success. Because they're out here, you know, say what you want about any of them, but not only is the music good, but they give good shows as well. So I don't agree with that. I said maybe because you mainstream white folks, that's what y'all want to focus on. Trump and Biden. Well, that's because she's into politics, and her father being who he is. Of course, she's gonna say that. And of course, with Taylor Swift, because white people, what else y'all can't really get into the stuff that we be talking about over here. So y'all going to sit up in here and just shove Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift down our throats every 5 damn minutes. But if that's what y'all want to do over there in y'all networks, y'all go ahead and do that. But me, being a person of color, we can talk about a multitude of things on this show. So, despite her remarks, McCain insists that she doesn't dislike Swift, who's 34. On the contrary, she apparently has high expectations of her. Well, I guess when you're in that position, you do have high expectations for a lot of these A-list celebrities. The political pundit called the Elvis-level Grammy winner one of the greatest ever in America. Okay, girl, now you're doing the most. She is not the greatest ever in American history, but if that's y'all bar that y'all want to set in the greatest ever, sis, you need to get out and touch some grass. So they said, which is why the former feels the latter should have waited to release the variants of her latest album, The Tortured Poets Department, in the UK, which helped ensure the record stayed in the #1 spot on the charts. Now, for those of you not aware, earlier this month, Swift dropped 3 new variants of her latest album, The Tortured Poets Department, in the UK, which helped secure the record a 6th week atop the UK albums chart. The limited time deal helped secure enough sales to stave off competition from Charli XCX's new album Brat, which debuted at number 2 on the chart dated June 14th. Swift was accused of using similar tactics in the US last month to keep Billie Eilish's new album Hit Me Hard and Soft off the top of the Billboard 200. She said, I do think if you are rounding the bases of being 35 and you are the greatest ever, and there are some people coming up that could have that first #1, and you have the power to let them have #1 or not, I just don't know how classy it is. This is what McCain said. I also think that karmically, I think you're messing with some stuff. And again, I get that the Torture Poets Department is doing well. I mean, doing this well and whatever. But I do think that maybe like more focus on music and art instead of like putting checks on a scoreboard is interesting. Well, here's the thing. I do agree with her with that. Fact of the matter is Taylor making music for the sake of making music, or is she making music because it's her art and she needs to express her art, or is she doing this because she's all about trying to collect a bunch of damn Grammys and trying to possibly beat Beyonce's number of 33 Grammys or 32 Grammys? And also, is it that she's more or less interested in, oh, well, I want to have this title of the most weeks my album has spent #1? I could understand if she could brag about that if it was just one version of the Torture Poets Department. But you've released so many different variants of that album, and every other week you want to put a live version of this song that you performed at the Eras Tour on there, or some new songs, or like less than 24 hours after you released the Torture Poets Department, which was the standard version, you decided to release one where it had about, 3 dozen damn songs on it. Like you Chris Brown, with putting 40 songs on a damn album. So, yes, you have your fan base that'll eat it up and they just love every little thing that Taylor Swift does. But to me, I don't like the idea of that. You supposed to be this girl's girl and a team player, but you pulling stunts and shows so that you can maintain the number one spot. And there needs to be rules in regards to that, in regards of people who keep releasing 45 different versions of the same damn album, and that is allowed to help y'all go number one and maintain that. And I guess it's good for business, whatever, but I know it's a thorn in the side of a lot of people who have put a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and hard work into their music and are trying to make a name for themselves and this, that, and the other. So one of the things I will say on that is that, Taylor could do and pull chart topping stunts all she wants. But Charli is having a last laugh because, her sixth album, Brat, is the most talked about album of 2024. I've been seeing so many people, on YouTube. There's so many videos that I've seen of people doing deep dives into this whole Brat era. We're seeing that Charli's rollout of this album is excellent. She don't have to pull what Taylor Swift is doing. She's going old school a lot of stuff. And plus, she's appearing at a lot of clubs and DJing, promoting the album, which is very old school. I remember back in the day when Madonna used to do that, where she would go and show up and give a little show at Webster Hall, or there would be DJs that would be spinning the music and she would show up at the club. So it's giving that whole old school club vibe of how we used to do things pre-internet. And I love the fact that Charli XCX's team have found a way to keep the Brat conversation on the tip of our tongues. But the only thing that everybody's talking about in regards to Taylor is the fact that she's releasing 150,000 different variants of the same tight-ass album and trying to prevent other artists, her competition, from getting the number one spot. So that's all they talk about. Or the fact that Travis Kelce never wastes no time getting on that podcast and talking about his relationship with her and or his celebrity interactions with people and those other stuff. So he's living his best life and he's enjoying being Mr. Taylor Swift, which is great. If that's what you gotten the relationship with her for, then that's what y'all get the relationship for. But I do say, like, girl, you're not the only one out here. Let other people shine. And I hate that the industry plays into that too, where it's like y'all want to act like Taylor Swift is the only thing out here making stuff, and y'all just want to act like nobody else out here exists. But they also talked about something with Sabrina Carpenter that I had to laugh at. So she said that she thought it was weird for Sabrina Carpenter to appear in an ad campaign for noted Swifto Kim Kardashian's Skims brand while on a break from opening up for the Era Store. Well, first of all, she took a break because she left the Era Store because she's doing her own world tour. Well, I think it's domestic. Like, it's only going to be in the United States. I don't know if it's going overseas. The Short and Sweet tour, which she has a new album coming out. So I don't think it has to do with that. And then the way that Nutmeg came across, it was like Sabrina had to go get permission from Taylor to go do the campaign because Taylor and Kim are I don't even say frenemies. The nemesis. Nemesis. Hey, nemesis. S-I, sis. The gay term. So I'm like, child, first of all, I don't need permission from nobody. First of all, ain't nobody scared of them tired-ass fucking Swifties, and ain't nobody scared of Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift does not run this industry. She does not give. She may have her foot on the pulse of what's going on in regards of, like, her business shit. Like, she's got a great team of people that keep her business endeavors going and all that other stuff, but she don't run the gamut in regards of, like, all these other girls got to bow down to her and ask for her for permission to go doing campaigns with other people. So I had to laugh when Nutmeg said that. Because they were saying, according to McCain, that meant the songstress basically got Taylor's permission before doing an ad campaign for Kim. Was she scared of retribution for Taylor Swift or Swift's fans? The mother of two wondered, adding, what would Taylor Swift do? Like, hurt her in the middle of the night? Put her fans on her? I mean, look, we know the Swifties are no different than the Barbs in a lot of ways on how they be acting. Like, her fans could be very aggressive. Or if you say something, they want to come at you. But child, ain't nobody scared of them sundress wearing armor soccer moms passing off at Swifties. Like, child, bye. But anyway, to wrap this story up, like I said, I'm here for the Brat era. I'm excited for this upcoming Sweat tour that she's got going on with Troye Sivan and Shy Girl. I'm curious to see how they're gonna put us all together. I know, like, she's been doing really well over here. I think she just performed in Brazil. They ate it up when she was out there DJing, and she actually played the remix of her song "Girl So Confusing" with Lorde, and the the people in the audience, the crowd, they lost their damn mind. I'm loving how this whole Brat era situation is going, but I am curious as like how she's going to make this work, this whole era work as an arena show. So I'm curious to see how her and her team are going to put this all together, but I'm not discounting that she won't be able to pull it off, but it will be interesting to see how she makes this whole thing work in the form of an arena, as well as Troye Sivan, because quiet as it's kept, Troye Sivan really don't have a lot of up-tempo tracks, but apparently he's making it work with his little tour that he's doing now. We'll see how it works where he comes and tries to do this all in an arena setting. But I say all this to say, what do you think of this story? Do you think that Nutmeg, even though I don't particularly care for her and her politics and her attitude and the way she was on The View, in a lot of situations, do you think she has a point in regards of what she said in her assessment about Taylor Swift and how Taylor likes to pull these stunts and shows in order to sabotage other pop stars from getting that #1 spot based off of her latest album? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments. There's do you think Taylor and Kelsey are PR? Do you think it's just a coincidence that she dated the star of the Super Bowl during the peak? I do think that this is a whole PR stunt. I don't really feel that their relationship is a real relationship because the way y'all going about it, it very much feels like a business arrangement. Because we've heard the alleged stories about Taylor Swift possibly being a lesbian. And look, they got queer men that play football. And I just heard recently that they're doing I'm not saying the people's is gay. That's the words that's been floating around. And, there's some people that have, and look, when you look at someone like a Travis Kelce, Travis knows that his career is not going to last. Like he's on borrowed time when it comes to being an athlete. Athletes don't play football forever. So with him being comfortable being just that laid back regular guy, when that's the image that Taylor Swift has been playing up, being this laid back regular girl, who does this music that women are so relate to, her and Travis works. He's willing to play the game. He loves all the fame and all the attention. And the fact that she, is the big breadwinner because he's got his own money. And everybody knows that the big star of the Kansas City Chiefs is Patrick Mahomes. So he's, and Travis Kelce is getting a lot of his fame and all this other stuff because of his attachment to Taylor Swift. And I did hear that they're doing some Christmas movie or whatever based off the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm like, Jeff came with this corny shit. So, and then I started to notice this back when the NFL was like, all of a sudden, fans of Taylor Swift and stuff, and then all of a sudden the Swifties are going to football games and are enjoying it. So the NFL loves using their relationship for clout, and that's what it's basically giving me. Even though, yeah, NFL's been around since forever and doing what it does. The one thing that we can't discount is the fact that, yes, because of Taylor's association with Travis Kelce, it is a good business arrangement. It's making the NFL a lot of money and vice versa, and they're loving all the attention. Even though a lot of the football fans hate it because they're here for just the game. They love their football. They like their game. They're all about the sports. So that's all they care about. They don't care about all the extra pomp and circumstance. If a celebrity happens to show up at an event that they're watching a game at, okay, that's great. Celebrities show up all the time. When I work at the Garden, whenever we see, like, whenever I work many a Knicks game or many a Rangers games, celebrities are there. The audience applauds. They're excited that they're there, and then we keep it moving. But when you make it all about the celebrity, that's when the fans get pissed. So y'all need to tread lightly with this and stop playing with our relationship in regards of, attention and clout and all this other stuff. So I do think their relationship is PR. But if y'all like it, I love it. That's basically all I'll say. Swifties were being disrespectful to Michael yesterday on his 15th anniversary of his passing. Chill, fuck them. Because they mad because their favorite saltine queen will always be basic, according to Michael Jackson. So I don't understand why they're being disrespectful to Michael on, him being 15 years since his death. It's like, what, she trying to break his record? First of all, I would see you could get the credibility when they always say celebrities that are alive break records of someone who's dead. I'm like, child, that is the equivalent of getting an honorary doctorate degree. Like, that don't mean shit. Because it's like, I can understand if you beat that person while they were alive on this earth, but they're not here to defend their honor. They're not here to put out more music. So when you have a Taylor Swift, oh, she broke Elvis's record. Oh, she broke I'm like, huh? How you break a dead man's record? Of course you're going to break their record. They're not here. So it don't count. I don't care what anybody says. So it says, I don't think her forcing her album to be number one is going to play in her favor in the long run. It's obvious to anyone that keeps up with charts that it's not organic. This error will be a stain in her legacy. Yeah, but you know what? The Swifties, like majority of these stans, when it comes to their faves, they're going to be in denial about this in regards to this. And they think that, oh, this is cute now, but it's like, okay, but this is, first of all, it's not her best body of work. Like, it's gotten mixed reviews. And when I hear, like, when I say compare, like, so you could do whatever you want to do to Charli XCX, but you're not on the tip of the tongues in regards to conversations with a lot of people out here who I see all the deep dives into Brat on YouTube. I see a lot of the, the hipster gays from Brooklyn and stuff. They're all talking about Charli. They ain't talking about Taylor Swift. Charli XCX is the topic of conversation on a lot of people, particularly a lot of Gen Z and millennials and stuff. They're not talking about Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets Department, except unless you're a Swiftie. Or they are talking about it, but it's always about some knot she has on her belt. So it says, Billboard just reported that Tate McRae can't be submitted for Best New Artist this year at the Grammys because she's already submitted 3 times. They blew it during her biggest year so far. Oop. And Tate's been around for a long time. I can't get into Tate McRae. So Sabrina Carpenter can't be nominated either because she already had more than 2 albums out. That's another thing too. She's not a new artist. Sabrina Carpenter has been making music for years. She was on Girl Meets World. That's why a lot of people are familiar with her, because she started out as a Disney chick, or a Disney kid, I should say. And then she was putting out music. So I said, I don't think Taylor is a lesbian. If she was, she probably would have been writing songs. And you know what? Since I believe her biggest fan base are lesbians, it definitely would work. Travis used to date dark-skinned black girls before Taylor. I wonder what made him change his type. Well, Taylor has money and access to things that he doesn't have. Like, since him getting with Taylor Swift, like, he's been hanging out with Tom Cruise. He's been hanging out with the Prince William and his family. He's been hanging out with, like, he just did, I forget the name of it, but Ryan Murphy has a new series coming out with Niecy Nash in it. And he got an acting part. So with him being associated with Taylor Swift, it grants him access to places that he had never had access to before, whether he would, if he were just some random athlete. So forget what I said about Sabrina. She can't get nominated this year. Oh, okay. And so they're not basing it around how many albums they have anymore. They just changed the rules. Like, I think that's probably what Robert was telling me about with the whole Grammy situation, that there was some big rule change. But yeah, I'm going to read that. And then when I do a show tomorrow, I will break that story down and do a whole deep dive and give my full opinion on that. But anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about Britney Spears, who it looks like she has reunited with her sons, Sean Preston and Jayden James, that they've reportedly mended their relationship. Now, Britney has finally reconciled with her estranged sons, Sean Preston and Jayden Frederline, and has been secretly speaking to them for months, even visiting them in Hawaii and arranging meetups in California, insiders have revealed. The 42-year-old pop princess has been extremely vocal in recent years about her strained relationship with Sean Preston, who's 18, and Jayden, who's 17, who she shares with ex-husband Kevin Frederline, who's 46. Now, a well-connected family insider told DailyMail.com exclusively that Britney and her teenage boys are fully back on track 2 years after Jayden voices hopes for reconciliation with his mother, which I guess comes into play about a lot of people stating that the kids are possibly using her for clout. Like, oh, all of a sudden now they want to they want to get back in good graces with their mother because the well's about to run dry in regards of the child support payments that she's been, that she's been spending, or, that she's been paying since, he had full custody of the children's, is what they've been saying, in regards of Britney and whatever. Child, they were talking about Britney Spears is upset that her filtered bathroom videos don't translate into outdoors unfiltered sunshine. She smokes, she drinks, and doesn't work out and looks great for her age. At this point, she's just a forever victim, not happy with herself. Okay, y'all sitting there talking about, first of all, Britney, how you out here in this tight pink skirt and these droopy boobs? And you know I live for Britney, but Miss Mamas, you'll be out here looking a mess. But anyway, let's get back to the rest of the story. So it says, while on vacation last week with her brother, Britney shared a picture of Brian looking all dressed up, and in the caption revealed that she was in contact with her sons, saying, looking pretty dapper, she wrote alongside the photo. I sent it to my kids, and I think that they got jealous because they said, that's a filter, that's not real. Now, in August of 2023, Kevin, Sean Preston, and Jayden moved to Hawaii along with Kevin's wife of 10 years, Victoria Prince, and their two daughters, Jordan, who's 12, and Peyton, who is 9. And from what I've been hearing, a lot of people have been saying, well, the reports have been saying that the reason why Britney is back in good graces with her kids is because her brother Brian orchestrated them getting back together. I was trying to see if that photo of her was actually up, the one where she was talking about her brother. Oh yeah, I found it. So yeah, this is the one. I want to pull that up real quick so that way y'all can see it, of the photo that I was referring to in regards of, you know, Britney's brother. I was looking at it, I was like, wait, who is that? I didn't understand who that was. So yeah, this is the picture of her where she was talking about Brian, all this other stuff. And she, let me like it too. It's funny how she turned off the comments because I guess she didn't want anybody commenting on it. And it's funny, like, we didn't even know that she had reconciled with her sons until she spoke about it. Just randomly made a comment about it, and everybody's excited. So I'm glad that, you know, Britney is working it out with her kids. Now, in regards to, let's see if there was any more of that article before I get to the rest of the thing. They said that she's visited the boys several times and at their home in Hawaii this year, which has been one of her go-to vacation spots for several decades. She's gone to Hawaii to see them, and they have come to her house and spend time with her. This is what a source continued. Britney and Kevin, you know, got married in 2004, following a whirlwind romance, which saw them welcoming Sean Preston in September 2005 and Jayden the following September. So she gave birth to 2 Virgos, and you know how we Virgos. So that's a lot when you're dealing with that type of personality. And Britney, I believe, is a Sagittarius. So could you imagine having a Sag for a mother? But and then, you know, we'll have public meltdowns, all this other stuff. So I'm really hoping that they are, you know, I really hope that they work it out. I know Britney's been going through a lot with her kids. A lot of people always thought that Kevin possibly poisoned them against her, and they were basically out here trying to use her for her money and all this other stuff. And I really hope that, you know, that this will finally bring Britney the closure and the joy that she finally needs. And I really hope that she works it out with her kids, because the one thing I don't like about parents is that, and vice versa, parents and children and vice versa, I should say, is that when the parents have a falling out with their kids, or their kids are estranged and that sort of thing. And I know Britney's been going through her stuff mentally and stuff, but I do feel like, you know, kids need their mother. And it's never a good thing when, you know, the mother is going through whatever she's going through and she can't be there fully for her kids. So I'm glad that they're working it out. I hope this is a real thing. I hope this is not Britney just, you know, these kids are out here trying to use her, as, since we're going to touch on that. I hope that Sean and Jayden, they're reuniting with Britney is real and authentic, and not because, yeah, the well's about to run dry on them child support payments, and now you're trying to get in the good graces of mommy, so that way when the money dries up and shit, that you're broke, and then y'all gotta figure out how you gonna fend for yourself in the world. So shout out to you, Britney. I'm glad the kids and everything's right. And I know people was all over social media and they was dragging them kids because they felt like that they were unappreciative and ungrateful and spoiled. And I'm sure I partook in some of that as well, because as an outsider looking at it, it did seem like that, you know what, be there for your mother. I know it's embarrassing, you're teenagers and you're grown up and trying to figure out your way into the world, but to just thumb your nose up at your mother and just because she's going through her mental stuff or whatever the case is, and a lot of things she's been through where so many people have hurt her in this industry, for you to turn your back on your mother because you worried about being embarrassed, whatever the case is, to me, I didn't think it was right. But then again, as an outsider looking in, sometimes we don't necessarily know the whole story, and we shouldn't be so quick to judge. So shout out to you, Brittany. Shout out to the kids. And I'm glad that, you know what, you have been able to make it. Y'all are working y'all shit out. So that's all I'll say on that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, our next topic that we're going to get into is let's talk about Sean Penn, who is opening up about, oh, I forgot to also mention before I get to the whole Sean Penn thing, because there was another story about Britney that came out, that Matthew Rosengart, her lawyer that helped her get out of that conservatorship, he's no longer representing her after being, after bringing the thing to a close. And Matthew Rosengart, who is a powerhouse litigator, who has represented U.S. Supreme Court Judge David Souter and a stint as a Department of Justice trial attorney. He has repped people like Steven Spielberg, Michael Mann, Sean Penn, who we're about to get into, and Casey Affleck. But, he's mostly known for working with Britney and that whole situation. So I just wanted to let y'all know about the whole Matthew Rosengart situation before we moved on to our next topic, which is Sean Penn, who is opening up about, the long-standing debate surrounding straight actors playing queer roles. Now, Sean recently said in an interview with the New York Times that 2008's Milk was the last time I had a good time on a film set, adding, I went 15 years miserable on sets, while Penn earned critical acclaim for his second Oscar for Best Actor thanks to his portrayal of the openly gay politician Harvey Milk. He told the Times he could not star in the film today as straight actors playing queer characters has become too hotly debated in Hollywood. He said, no, it could not happen in a time like this, Penn said about not playing Harvey Milk in 2024. It's a time of tremendous overreach. It's a timid and artless policy toward the human imagination. As for his 15 miserable years on film sets, Penn said it was because he felt like an actor who is playing a leading role and is a known actor and is being paid well and has a leadership position on a film, and you've got to show up with energy and be a bodyguard for the director in some way. He said, I was faking my way through the stuff, and that was exhausting. Most of what I thought was just, what time is it? When were you going to get off? I'm sure it was done, but I didn't know how I was going to keep my house running or travel freely or things like that if I stopped. And I think that's what it is with a lot of actors, that they're more or less worried about, okay, so now if I stop acting and those other stuff, I got so many things that I got to pay. I got to pay, take care of my kids. I mean, make sure they go to the best private schools and all this other stuff. And then I also, with, the way them houses and stuff are in LA, the shits ain't cheap. So those are things that he had to worry about. And so I totally get it. Now, in regards of the whole straight actors playing gay role situation, I don't mind straight actors playing gay roles. But if you're going to have straight actors playing gay roles, what needs to happen is you need to allow the same for gay actors when they want to play straight. Straight actors Matt Bomer should be allowed to play that lead in a romantic comedy. Luke Evans should be allowed to play that lead in a romantic comedy. There's so many actors who are still in the closet because they feel like they're not going to be able to garner the same success as a Brad Pitt, as a Tom Cruise, as, a Matthew McConaughey, Denzel Washington, or whatever the case is. So yeah, unfortunately, we made strides in Hollywood and we still have a long way to go, but gay actors feel like they can't still have that career. But it all depends on what aspirations you have, because there are gay actors out here who have maintained a well-oiled career and are still actively working. But if your whole goal is that you want to be on that massive level, then that's something that I guess is different, because Hollywood, I don't know if they're necessarily going to allow that. But you could go off and do Broadway. You can do off-Broadway. You could do, theater where you're singing and dancing and stuff, like a Jonathan Groff. Or you could do like that TV show, or you could do that movie. You could do, like, Matt Bomer's career is just all over the place. Billy Porter, I would put him in the conversation, but Billy Porter plays the same damn character over and over. And I saw there was a petition for him to not play damn, what was the name? What's the name of the character? I don't know why I'm thinking Bayard Rustin. First of all, that movie already exists with Coleman Domingo, where he was supposed to play a gay character. But anyway, um like I said, I don't mind a straight actor playing a gay part, but the another thing that irritates me about straight actors playing gay roles is that the minute a straight actor plays a gay role, y'all basically want to give them an award. James Baldwin, thank you, because I saw it in the comments. So I couldn't remember. Billy Porter supposed to play James Baldwin. There's petitions where they don't want him playing the role because they feel like this is all performative because you want to go and you want to be a you want that Oscar, you want that award. So it's not even like you doing it because you believe in the things that James Baldwin stood for. And James Baldwin was someone who was very actively open about being pro-Palestine. And the way that things are now with these lobbyists going around trying to get rid of people who speak out against Palestine, and how a lot of the Israel people are putting a lot of their money into a lot of these political campaigns and spending millions of dollars to try to keep other people from getting voted in or reelected. I don't see Billy Porter. I don't want him playing that role because I feel like he doesn't understand the true essence of who James Baldwin is, especially with the many books and the historical stories about him over the years. So I'm with y'all when y'all say I don't want him playing that part. So I'm all for, as I said, straight actors playing gay parts, but y'all need to have it be on equal footing. I feel like there needs to be more gay stories told. I feel like those gay actors should, if they're qualified and they're good at playing the part, that they should be able to play that part. So I don't like the whole idea of just like trying to keep people out and all this other stuff. So I totally get where Sean Penn is coming from, but he also has to understand, in this situation, it's not just a simple thing of, oh yeah, I'm just an actor and I'm just, I'm playing something completely outside of myself and all that other stuff. Like it's beyond that. It's at a point of a lot of us have a lot at stake right now. There's not a lot of opportunities for queer actors anyway in Hollywood. So for these straight actors to come in and just play these characters, and you're not thinking about the things that gay actors are going through trying to get their foot in the door and have those opportunities when all we want is to be seen. I just saw a video on Priyanka's Instagram where she was talking about how she, when she was traveling and doing other stuff, and she went to some meeting with some indigenous people. There's like 5 of them in a room, and they were talking about how the one thing, she's always talking about, oh yeah, people want representation on TV and movies and things that, all those other stuff, which we're talking about. And she said she was shocked because one of the persons that she was having a conversation with was like, all they care about is seeing someone like them working in a coffee shop. So it's even beyond TV and movies. TV and movies definitely shape the way that we perceive people that are different than us. But for the most part, it's like, but some people who are in those small towns, because a lot of us who live in big areas like a New York or an LA or Chicago, we take a lot of these things for granted because we see different people in regards of identity, sexual orientation, race, this, that, and the other. But when you go to like that small town in Cupcake, Idaho, or West Bubblefuck, Wisconsin, you're not seeing a lot of those people. You'll probably see 5 two-spirited indigenous people. Or you'll see that one black drag queen. Or that Asian trans woman who's the only Asian trans woman in that town. So a lot of times, we need to look at it that way. So I think like I get it, Sean, but at the same time, I think you need to look at it from that other side too. Like you're a white cisgender male, so you have to understand the nuances and what a lot of us who are considered a minority have to deal with, especially when there's a lot of minority queer performers. And I'm not talking about black, I'm not talking about Latino, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about minority as in a small group of queer people that we know of who are working in Hollywood and trying to get those roles and are trying to keep the lights on in their house and maintain that lifestyle or whatever, and to do the thing that they love. So I feel like that's the real rub of the situation. So I get it, but I feel like you need to understand it from that side as well. But I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you agree with what Sean Penn is saying, or do you feel like, the other side of the coin, which is all the stuff that I brought up in regards of like, he need to understand, like, there's got a lot of queer actors out here who are working, and they're trying to fight to get their stories told and have a seat at the table and really push Hollywood into telling so many other stories. So, outside of just y'all being quick to hire somebody white to do that part. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story down below. Stop your blood clot crying. Wasn't that a line from like a Steven Seagal movie? I said, why not get a gay actor to play a gay role? That's what I said. Like, I don't mind. Like, I mean, look, if y'all, as someone who is openly gay, I wouldn't mind playing a gay character for the rest of my career, as long as you can come up with something like an interesting character. Like, if there was a serial, well, no, let's not put serial killer in there because there's been too many queer serial killer stories. If there was a gay slasher movie, I'd want to star in it as the cop or the Gail Weathers of the movie, so I can keep coming back for each sequel. If there was a gay version of John Wick, I would want to play that part because that's something different. If there was a gay version of Blade, I would like to play that part because it's something different. If I was to play, any of the, it just so happens that they're gay, I'm here for that. Those are the type of stories that we want told, not just somebody that just sits around here doing, I just do makeup and hair and I'm a drag queen, all the stereotypes. So if there were actual parts out there where it's just like they just so happen to be part of the LGBTQ community, but they're just this character, they just so happen to be, then to me that's more interesting than just, we just got this caricature up here to just fill a quota. So it's like I had no idea Kevin Spacey was LGBT. Chill, he is. I don't know. Yeah, that was always the tea about Kevin Spacey, was that there was always long-standing rumors about him. And there was like a documentary or whatever on, was it HBO Max? I think it was, that they did on Kevin Spacey, similar to, the Dan Schneider thing with Nickelodeon. And it was similar to the whole thing with Nick Carter and his brother. They did the whole deep dive. And there was a recent interview that Kevin Spacey did with, I think it was Piers Morgan. He broke down crying. He told me he got his house foreclosed on because he can't afford to pay the bills. It's in the millions because he hasn't been working. And, a lot of people was like, because y'all be thinking all these celebrities out here just rich. But it's like, a lot of times what happens is their money dries up because it's like they have so many people that they're paying. They have to pay their agent. They got to pay their manager. They got to pay, people who are part of their team, their assistant, all the people that work for them. All that money has to go somewhere. Plus they got bills, mortgage on their houses and all those other stuff. Tax, they got to pay taxes. They got to pay all that stuff. So we got to keep that in mind too. So yeah, and he broke down crying. So yes, Kevin Spacey is part of the community. Billy Porter is, thank you, because I was like, I remember it's like, he's supposed to play James Baldwin. If he does his role right, Billy Porter could put himself in a position to be nominated for that, and I think that's why he did it. He wanted that part. He wanted to play. He wants an Oscar. But based off that interview he did with The Guardian, which I broke down as a segment on my YouTube channel, I did cut it up as a separate segment. So if y'all haven't seen it, y'all could definitely seek it out on YouTube, where I went in and let have on Miss Porter. And this whole thing, why I don't think that he should play James Baldwin, because some of the stuff he said. And when you sit up in here talking about, I want peace, I want effing peace in the Middle East, with this whole thing that's going on with this genocide from Israel, when it's like, you are missing the point. You trying to play, wave the white flag and play both sides of the coin, similar to AOC and Bernie Sanders, which all of a sudden now they want to ask for a damn ceasefire when y'all was basically calling out anybody that opposed against the ceasefire from the beginning. Now, because y'all got permission to do it, and it's a cool thing to do, now AOC and members of the squad and fucking Bernie Sanders, flip-flopping ass, all of a sudden want to jump on the bandwagon. Bye. We don't want you, and we don't want your support. But anyway, back off the political stuff, because, once the political things start going, my tangent just starts tangenting. So, I could see why he wants to do it, but it just feels very performative for me. So it's like, you're not even wanting to do this part because it's the right thing to do. You're doing it because you want the Oscar nomination, which is why I feel like a lot of these actors jump into certain situations. Same thing with Jared Leto playing a trans woman with AIDS. All of a sudden now he get an Oscar for that. Oh, because he really stepped outside of himself. Really? Okay. And that's the shit about Hollywood that irritates me, the performative aspect. for why y'all be doing things. Billy Porter's not a good actor. He is an overly dramatic weirdo whose bottom teeth don't match his top teeth. It said, if it makes sense, yes, get Billy Porter could play James Baldwin, but he really needs to focus and research. Yeah, and that's why I said, and that's why I think it's rubbed people the wrong way, because clearly it's like you sit there and talking about you going to co-write the script or write the script. I think he said co-write. You're supposed to direct the film and you're supposed to play James Baldwin, but when you were interviewed for The Guardian, it just seemed like you didn't know much about this person. Like, it just seemed like to me that the way he was coming across, like he just looked at James Baldwin was like some character. And James Baldwin's not a character. He's a real life person that you're playing. So if you're going to be playing a real life person, similar to Coleman Domingo playing Bayard Rustin, you have to treat this person as like they were an actual human being and not just some character that was just written for you to play. Billy Porter, yeah, as you said, LGBT actors have to write and produce and direct their own work. Every time there is a gay role, it needs to be more than sex. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love sex. Sex is the part of they ain't put sex and homosexual for no reason. So it goes hand in hand. But I do agree that there needs to be more context to these characters than sex. Because I had saw this video that's floating around on Facebook, and I'm gagged that it showed it, and I thought about sharing it, but Facebook likes to go in on me for sharing other people's shit when it's not, I wasn't the one that did it. So there was a drag queen that was performing outside, and there was a guy fucking another dude, and he was hanging out the window while he was getting his back blown out. And I'm reading the comments, and people, shout out to Travid, a friend of mine, who posted this. I'll tell you, you a shady bitch, but he posts crazy stuff like that, reposts. And the irritation for me, well, first of all, the breeders were saying what they was going to say to my, nasty, whatever the case was. I'm like, child, by first of all, a lot of you straight people, I have seen y'all do some crazy shit too. So the fact of the matter, y'all try to point out that gays are out here being messy and sexually promiscuous, that's a goddamn lie, because straight people, y'all be out here being promiscuous too, and swinging and doing all kinds of group sex stuff as well. So let's not try to act like y'all are innocent, because they're not. But what was disappointing was when I was reading the comments and I'm seeing gay people in the comments somehow, and this was the main thing that they kept saying. They were like, see, this is why y'all be giving the GOP and all these other people ammunition against us, because y'all be posting stuff like this, or y'all always going in and y'all giving them ammunition, or y'all giving these people a reason to hate us. And this is why the straight people want to take. I'm like, if y'all don't shut y'all short bus, slow looking asses down, because first of all, here y'all go trying to seek the approval of these straight folks. And I love my straight people. Shout out to y'all. But I ain't got time for the bigots. I'm not sitting up in here, and we got a story on Adam Lambert about the trolls, telling them that, what y'all hate for us is only making us stronger. We got that story coming. That's actually the next topic. But here's the thing. I'm not living my life for straight folks. I'm not living my life because at the end of the day, these homophobes, these people that don't like the LGBTQ plus community, y'all sit up here trying to be pick-me's for these people, and y'all worry so much about the fact that they don't like us, that they're gonna hate on us, that they throw shade in our direction. I don't understand why y'all running behind these people trying to seek their approval. They don't like you. They're never gonna like you. And for y'all to sit up in here and try to dick ride for a bunch of bigots, that's y'all basically the gay equivalent of a Tim Scott or a Clarence Thomas. Not Clarence, Clearance. Because them clearance sales where he like taking money from and kickbacks from people. That's why we call him Clearance. So I don't understand y'all trying to be pick-me's for these people that don't love y'all, that don't have love for y'all, because y'all want to see the table. I don't run around here worrying about what a bunch of hating ass straight folks think of me, because y'all always gonna think that we're an abomination, that we ain't shit, that y'all don't care about us, that we should go die on a hill somewhere. But I'm gonna live my life out loud and motherfucking proud. So if y'all don't like it, you can suck my dick from the back, as a friend of mine named Angel used to say. But anyway, I remember 6 Feet Under, the brothers was gay, and he just happened to be gay. And you talking about Dexter, forgot Michael C. Hall, he was the gay one. And he just so happened to be gay, and he was involved with a gay black cop, and they were raising a daughter. He was a mortician and had a life. Yeah, that's why I said, it's like, you can have those regular characters who just so happens to be gay, but also there's, they have the nuances. They're not, their relationship, their personality isn't black and white. They're shades of gray. I always feel like there's shades of gray in everybody. So you can create those characters, and it was just like, you get to see Michael C. Hall playing like this gay mortician who was a little uptight. And then you had the guy from, I think the black guy used to be on All My Children. And you get the gay cop and that sort of thing. Like, I always find stuff like that interesting. He said, my 6-year-old was not gay sex. 2 of the characters were gay and had a family and had jobs and lived their lives. Hollywood needs to do more of this. Gay people have households. Exactly. It's not, we're not just all out in, the back rooms of gay clubs fornicating and doing Tina. Like, that's not all we're doing. And there's a part of the industry that does that, but there's more to us than that. So I do agree. But yeah, child, y'all remember that scene when Federico walked in on his brother-in-law getting fucked? That was an iconic scene where he walked in and boy was getting his cheeks clapped. Speaking of which, whatever happened to Freddie Rodriguez? I always liked him. The last time I saw him, he did, oh my God, there was like this group of short horror films that I know they showed on Shudder. And he played one of the cops, but it was like, I guess this girl was having like visions or whatever the case was of people's deaths. And he played the cop that was investigating. So that was the last time I saw him. But then he was also in Planet Terror, which I loved his character in that. I definitely liked him as playing like the action hero. So I definitely want to see him in more stuff. I said I didn't even understand what I didn't either. But like I said, I was like, that's why I just broke it. Like for 15 years you was miserable because straight actors can't be out here playing gay parts. Make it make sense. But yeah, I think his first gay part was in that movie Bad Boys with Esai Morales, because if you can't tell me there was the homoeroticism throughout that movie, I don't know what to tell you. So it said there aren't too many straight men that will feel comfortable kissing or doing gay love, especially people like Will Smith. Because I remember I saw the other day on Out, I think they pointed out, or one of the gay blogs pointed out gay actors who refuse to, or regular actors who refuse to do gay scenes in their movie. I did not know that Mark Wahlberg was originally approached to do Brokeback Mountain. Thank God they did not put him in that fucking movie. So he turned that down because of the gay context. Also, what's his name? Will Smith, who refused to kiss another man in 60 Degrees of Separation. I believe that was his stand-in that did that part. From what I heard, Denzel Washington advised him not to kiss another man on camera. But child, quiet as is kept. I mean, that's what you be doing behind the scenes, but you wouldn't do it on camera, allegedly. But and so there was a couple of other people. So I was like, whatever, child. Not Auntie Tom. You talking about Tom Cruise? Them iconic stories about her. Oh, love you too, girl. And said that wasn't a girl, that was a guy. They even said that was his son. Maybe he is gay or bi. He married Madonna. Oh, you talking about Sean Penn? I said, no way Wahlberg in Brokeback Mountain. Did not know that. Yeah, I was reading that the other day that they were talking about he was up for the date, that Ang Lee approached him about being in that film. Thank God he wasn't. I mean, I heard like he went through it when he was doing the movie where he played the porn star and he had to put on that fake penis. Which I actually, damn, I forgot the name of the damn movie, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Where he played the porn star, Dirk Diggler. So I'm glad that he didn't get that part. And they said the Liberace movie, Michael Douglas and Matt Damon had a full scene. The movie was good. I actually like Liberace, and Michael Douglas definitely ate that part. And what's his name was good too, Matt Damon. I never thought the day would come where Matt Damon would play gay, but then again, they dragged him for points when he made that F word joke on some show or whatever, and his daughter got into his ass in regards of him using that word as a slur. So he did go on and apologize. Boogie Nights, thank you. And it said Sean Penn, oh yeah, VHS, thank you. Freddie Rodriguez is in one of the VHS scenes, one of the short films, the recent one that came out, which was actually pretty good. So I was like, thank you, Boogie Nights. I don't know why I couldn't remember the damn name of it. And it said he slammed Z. But anyway, let's move on because we got 2 more topics. But before we get to those final 2 topics, everybody who's watching, if you haven't done it already, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification button so that when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, it definitely helps out with the algorithms and all that good stuff. But anyway, so let's move on to our second to the last topic, and let's talk about Adam Lambert. who is going in on the trolls on social media. So Adam Lambert is in his we're here, we're queer, get used to it era, and has all the smoke for a lot of the homophobes out here who apparently has a problem with the gays feeling liberated and living their best life. And you know what? This is the best time to do it, because if that Project 2025 gets into office and Trump gets reelected, y'all better say hello to fascism. Because he's talking about getting rid of all the gay rights stuff. He's trying to roll back abortion. He's trying to roll back a whole lot of things. And it's about to become a full-on dictatorship in the United States. And don't get me wrong, I can't stand Biden and his warmongering ass and all the things that he's been doing. But let's make sure that Trump doesn't get elected. His ass gets sent to jail. And then we'll just deal with what we got to deal with Biden, because the third party ain't getting in. What we can do is, once this whole thing gets, squashed by the whole Trump situation, after the next 4 years, then we can get this movement going where it's like, okay, so whoever the next political person is, Democratic or Republican, y'all got to step y'all pussies up. Like, we doing this only out of necessity to make sure that Project 2025 don't happen, that Biden doesn't get elected. And don't get me wrong, I don't want neither one of them. I don't like this whole being put in a lesser than two evils type of situation, but it is what it is, and this is what we stuck with. But once Biden's 8 years is up and Trump goes to jail, because this is the only reason why he's running, the next whoever Democrat coming up is, and the next Republican coming up is, that's when we as a people collectively come in, because we have the knowledge now, and knowledge is power. As I told y'all, I learned when I was a little kid, growing up at a gifted and talented school, in elementary school, that this is what we need to do to progressively get our shit put on the table. And say, this is not what we're putting up with. So fresh off his appearance at West Hollywood Pride earlier this month, out singer Adam Lambert wants the anti-LGBTQ plus far right to know that they're not going to stop him or the community from celebrating and living out loud. Their hate is not going to dull my light. In fact, in some ways, it fuels my fire. This is what he recently told The Advocate. I feel like now more than ever, it's time to express whatever I want to express. And if someone has a problem with it, I would prefer if they just ignored me. You got a problem with it? Get over it. Mind your own business. He said, I don't understand why the haters out there focus so specifically on things they don't like. This is what Lambert continued. You don't have to like everything. That's society. We're in a free world. We're supposed to be in a free society where everyone has the freedom to express themselves as long as you're not hurting anybody. There's plenty more that we need to be focusing on other than why people are sleeping with and what don't, and what identity people want to see themselves as. Funnily enough, this is the same thing Whoopi Goldberg said when I was watching the other day on The View, where she was talking about, these issues about them trying to induct the 10 Commandments into schools now, into public schools. Or, with the fact of them trying to have control over women's bodies or autonomy over women's bodies. Let's use a big word. And so many other things. And now, we're in this era of like so many Republican people, they're trying to follow that whole Trump playbook where they want to be like, we want to have control over Black people. We want to have control over women. We want to have control over the gays, the LGBT community. Because they're not just coming after the gays. At one point they came for the gays. Now the trans people, the trans community is on on everybody's radar. So that's what they're going after. Trying to keep trans people using the bathrooms, trying to have hormone blockers blocked, kids from using that. And all the things. And I definitely agree with him, because this is the choir that I've been preaching to for the longest. And this is why I do what I do in regards of this show, because I don't see enough people like myself on social media shouting this from the rooftops or really speaking out for the community and all that other stuff in regards of, you don't have to like everything. I don't like a lot of shit that a lot of y'all be out here doing, but do I go in and try to infiltrate y'all situation and tell you how to live your life? I don't, because what you do is none of my business. Just like what you think of me, shout out to RuPaul, is none of my business. So let me live my life. If I don't have to believe what you believe in regards of religion, which is why I don't like the fact that you have these politicians trying to indoctrinate their religious beliefs on everybody else, because Catholicism and Christianity is not the only religion that exists on this planet. There's so many other religions and things that's going on. So we have to respect other people's livelihood, people's religions, people's way of life. You may not have to like it, but you should respect it. And if it's not hurting you, I don't understand why y'all care. So I definitely think about that. And I love the fact that, you know what, Adam is at this point in his career where he's in his 40s and he's like, you know what, I'm about to live my best life and I want to make music. I played the game. I've done what I needed to do in order to be existing in this space where I could do the things that I want to do. And a lot of people have done it. Beyonce did it too. Beyonce played the game so that way she could get to the point where she could make a Lemonade, a Renaissance Act One, a Cowboy Carter. So sometimes when you are that artist, sometimes you got to play the game to get where you need to get, and then you finally are at a place where you could tell your story and you could do the things that you want to do artistically and unapologetically. And I feel like that's what Adam Lambert is doing as well. That he could live his full-on flamboyant homosexual fantasy by coming out here and doing what needs to be done in regards to this. So I'm proud of him and all that. And I know they want people to be like, well, you know, everybody has to be young, youth. That's the obsession. But it's like I told her, I can't believe that some 22-year-old trying to tell me about love, sex, relationship, because I feel like you haven't gotten to where I'm at in regards of the experience and the nuances and all the things that I've had to deal with in my lifetime in regards to being in relationships with men and having sex with men and doing all the things that I've done with so many people throughout my life. So I got mileage on these bones where I can get out there and I can make music and I can tell these stories. And that's why I would believe in Adam Lambert before I believe in Lil Nas X. Because Lil Nas X is somebody who is in his early 20s. And don't get me wrong, I'm living for all the things that Lil Nas X is doing. Because so many others walked so that way Lil Nas X could do what he's doing now. But so that's basically what I wanted to say on that. So now that, you know, and they said that Lambert was part of a star-studded lineup performer at WeHo Prize Out Loud Music Festival earlier this month that included Kesha, Janelle Monáe, Kylie Minogue, and Diplo. And also Orville Peck came out too. The 3-night event kicked off a Pride Month that has found the LGBTQ plus community defiantly celebrating in the face of continued attacks from conservatives. The last few years have seen a dramatic rise in anti-LGBTQ plus rhetoric on the rights and efforts to pass anti-LGBTQ plus laws across the country. Most recently, Florida Governor and short man, Ron DeSantis' Republican administration tried to dampen Pride's festivities by banning bridges in the state from displaying rainbow lights. And in New York City, where 150 Pride flags outside the historic Stonewall National Museum were vandalized last week, NYC Pride was forced to cancel 2 of its marquee Pride events. Now, when you look at somewhere like New York, where we are like the epicenter of queer rights and gay pride and that sort of thing, especially since the Stonewall riots happened here in New York. So when you hear shit like this, and then I was on a train yesterday, and you know, when in New York, we have this thing called Showtime where a bunch of dirty ass hood boogers get on the train and start doing stupid ass acrobatics and stuff for tips. Which they need to put a stop to that shit, because y'all all do the same fucking routine, quiet as it's kept. But there was this one boy who had on white. And first of all, why are you wearing white doing all this? Your pants was blacker than you. Your tank top was blacker than you. And the hat you were trying to do the tricks with, you kept fucking up, was blacker than you. So then he goes and starts this whole tangent about men and women and women. I'm like, okay, all of a sudden now you on this homophobic tirade. And I'm just like, sir, worry about yourself, because quiet as I guarantee if I pulled your damn pants down, you got skin marks in them fucking drawers, and you probably was the type of person that probably got locked up and was having a Boosie moment where you was bending over, touching your toes, and some shit happened to you. So, you know, a lot of times when you people get on your little soapbox and want to spew your homophobia and stuff, 9 times out of 10, I believe it's some suppressive shit you got going on deep within your spirit, and some shit probably happened to you against your will. But a lot of times, you know, you like to hide it behind your bigotry. So it also says that while Heritage of Pride Executive Director Sandra Perez has cited rising costs in a post-COVID environment and lack of support from city and state agencies for the organization canceling its Pride Island Music Festival and Pride Rally this year, Queer T's Michael Musto spoke to one event organizer who suggested that corporate sponsorship has dried up in the wake of last year's high-profile anti-LGBTQ plus boycotts of brands like Target and Bud Light. So yeah, all of a sudden now, because you know the organizations, you know, they love to jump on the LGBTQ plus bandwagon on June 1st, and then July 1st, y'all done packed it up and acted like y'all wasn't even a part of the community with your rainbow flags and all this other shit. Because they had Dylan Mulvaney doing the Bud Light thing, there was a backlash. First of all, I don't know anybody that drinks, well, I do know people that drink Bud Light. Whenever I work these events, any kind of outdoor event or whatever the case is, I do be seeing you random white folks that be at these sporting events. Y'all do drink a lot of that Bud Light. I don't like piss water, so I don't drink Bud Light. I drink Corona. That's my beer choice. I don't do nobody's Bud Light. I don't like light anything. If I'm gonna drink a beer, I'm gonna drink a motherfucking beer. So we have that. So I don't think that the corporate sponsorship have dried up. I think it's because of what these little bit of people that's out here whose voices have been exceptionally loud. Corporations are running scared, which goes to show that I think that people have forgotten that Stonewall, Pride started out as a riot. It was never about Target or McDonald's or Disney, and all these or Chase Bank and all these other places jumping on the bandwagon. And, all of a sudden y'all love the gays. So y'all only jumping on it because y'all thinking that, because the LGBTQ plus community has a disposable income, so I'm going to jump on that situation and reap the benefits. But then these little bit of people come out here with their homophobia and bullshit. Now y'all running scared. Like they're the majority of the people that buy your stuff. There are queer people that watch sports. We have plenty of gay sports bars in New York, and I'm sure beyond. We have plenty of gay people, LGBTQ plus people who go to sporting events. So to not include them in it because you running scared for a bunch of bigots, to me it just shows me y'all true colors and why we need to not put our money behind these corporations, especially when you have people out here who complain about, Target putting queer memorabilia in their stores, and you have people who actively seek out in these stores these clothes, the merchandise, so that way they can go on their TikToks and their Instagrams and spew their homophobia and transphobia, so that way they go fucking viral. Because that's another thing y'all like doing too. So they said we went for the usual corporate support we got for the past years. We reached out to corporate America. I don't want to mention sponsors. Well, you should. And this is what I hate about a lot of y'all political pundits. Y'all won't go out and call these motherfuckers out. In my opinion, y'all need to turn into Sutton Strack and name them. Name them. Name them. Name them. Name them. Name them. Shit. So this is what Nathan James said. He said, he don't want to mention sponsors by name, but as January became February, became March, any support dried up. And Nathan James said he canceled a Pride concert at Carnegie Hall that had been planned for June 26th. That's today. The event was unaffiliated with Heritage of Pride, but Lambert sees the recent challenges in the context of a long game that the LGBTQ plus community can win. So we've been dealing with this forever, he said. If you look back at the last 15 years, there's been a lot of progress. We pushed really hard and our community has become a very long way. And of course, there's going to be pushback, but I hope that anybody out there seeing that hate and seeing that negativity takes it. Now, I know this sounds strange as a compliment. These type of people wouldn't be so threatened, he added. So it's just a response to the beautiful work we've done as a community. Queer young people in particular, Lambert said, aren't going to take the recent backlash to LGBTQ plus progress lying down. He says, I don't think they're going to be intimidated into hiding. There's a real bold sense of self in our community now. People are empowered to be verbal and public about who and what they are in a way that we've never had before. There will be attempts to censor us and to dim our light and quiet us down, but I really don't think it's going to work. Well, you know what? I agree with him on that. And that's why I get irritated with people like Whoopi Goldberg, who's very dismissive. And shout out to Stunny Hostin, because she always be coming to the bat of Gen Z. Whoopi Goldberg has been very dismissive in regards, oh, the young people don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing. We already did all the what they're doing. Okay, girl, great. Because you are of the era of Vietnam. So I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing, but them same people that was out there protesting against the Vietnam War, now that next generation is protesting against what's happening in Israel and Palestine. It's the same thing with Black Lives Matter. They were protesting against that, and they were queer people that were protesting alongside the black folks, even though a lot of y'all black people A lot of the Black community don't like to associate gays in that conversation. But there's Black queer people too. So y'all can't try to erase them. Try as you might, you can't erase us. And it's the same thing with this. It's like y'all can try to push up against us, but now I feel like these younger kids are vigilant. They're in a place now where they're putting their money where their mouth is. They're out there willing to put their lives on the line and actively go against what's happening in this country regarding fascism, regarding what's happening to the people over in Palestine. And you know, a lot of people have opened their eyes into a lot of the bullshit in politics that's going on both sides, not just the Republican side, but the Democratic side. And I'm glad that the younger generation is speaking out. So I don't like the fact that, you know, y'all want to run out here and discount what the younger kids are going through or what they're out here doing. So I do agree with Adam Lambert on this. And if y'all haven't already, because I had to pull this picture up, definitely stream his new song Cunty, honey, because that song is everything. And no, it's not the same as it's not a remake of the Kevin Aviance classic, but definitely I'm with him on this. But I say all this to say, you know, what do you guys think of this story? I'm here for it. And I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, all the strides that we made, maybe we need to go back to the basics and remember that Pride started out as a riot. You know, this wasn't an organization for, you know, some bandwagon, basically for the organization to jump on as a way to just suck up the disposable income of the queer community. That Pride is a political statement. And you know what Adam said, like he said, no matter how hard you try, we're not going anywhere. So we're going to continue to be out here and be vigilant, and we're going to fight for our rights as people. And even though, you know, we're not always included at the table when it comes to LGBTQ plus issues, because, you know, white people are always going to get first dibs, just the way that this society is measured. But if we want to continue to fight for our things, we got to be out here to be willing to fight alongside them as well. They're not the enemy. We know who the real enemies are, the DeSantis's and all these other people. We need to take their ass out. So in Project 2025, y'all better be on point, you know, pay attention to that, because that shit is real. And this upcoming election is not a game. So let me know I know this was a long one, but it was a lot to break down in regards to this topic. So let me know what you guys think of this story down below. Okay, so now we have Madonna for being the ultimate HIV icon and a sinner. She slammed him saying, "You'll never be Donnie. Good vibration." Ooh. Well, first of all, quiet as it's kept, we always love Donnie Wahlberg, and Donnie Wahlberg got a fat ass. But I've always loved me some Donnie Wahlberg, even though, you know, I know they're about to wrap up the final season of Blue Bloods, which they're gonna show it later on in the fall. But yeah, they wrapping up. I believe they split it, but you know, I always like Donnie Wahlberg more so than his brother. And Limbo on tour, he needs to be Duke and sing, go on tour, make your money. Well, you know, he's been doing the thing with Queen, which I heard that they just sold their catalog for $1 billion. So they are lit with the bandmates are good with the coin in regards to that. I know he's been doing that, but you know, when he got the Afters EP coming out, I thought it came out last week, but apparently it's not out. He's been dropping singles, but we need the Afters EP. So I'm actually looking forward to what this whole era is going to be. And I can't wait for the EP to drop. I'm guessing because Pride is just about to be over on Sunday. So he needs to drop that EP this week, Friday. That's when it need to come out, sir. And I'm definitely would love to see him on tour. I know he's been doing the Pride events. You know, he's had backup dancers. He's been really pushing this whole era of dance music, which I've always said Adam Lambert should kind of go into that territory, especially because he's so theatrical. And in my opinion, he's giving me what I need in regards of like out music. Like I've been wanting my out artists to be giving me like full on pop fantasy choreography. You need to be kind of giving me that, what I get from like the Madonnas and the Kylie Minogues and that sort of thing. We don't have enough of those type of artists that's giving that. Or when they kind of go in that territory, I feel like the music doesn't live up to the same level as a lot of those their female counterparts. That I always feel like it's real in cliches, it's a little too campy, or it's not like really edgy enough or in your face or unapologetically queer. So that's why I love the fact that Adam Lambert is going into this territory. And I've heard people in the comments, well, no, he don't need to go into that territory because what about the kid? Fuck your kids, in the words of Lil Nas X. Everything ain't for kids. And for me, it's like when he's making music for me and people like me, where Adam Lambert and I got a lot in common in regards of like the type of circle that we socialize in. So if you're giving me that sort of life, especially with you know, he's from, you know, He parties out in LA. I know friends who have partied with him. So I know the stories, and one of my good friends has, been to Justin Tranter's house. He's done all the things where he's been around a lot. He even told me he met Camila Cabello. I got a story about that. Well, it's not bad. It's just they said she's a nice girl, but that's why I'm not buying this era. But who do I think is? You said who do I think is the next Democrat? I think it's going to be damn. What's his name? Gavin Newsom. I think they're trying to prop him up to be like maybe the next presidential candidate. And to me, it might work because he's a good looking man. He's young enough. He's charismatic. People like what he's been doing out in LA. I know there's probably like conflicting stories in regards of some of the people like what he does, some people don't like what he does, but I definitely feel like he knows he's doing the damn thing out in LA. So I think it might be him. What that needs to be the conversation right after this, but I feel like we're not going to find that out until possibly like what? Maybe 2026, 2027. But I feel like shortly after, let's say it and put out in the universe because I don't care for either one of them. A third party candidate is not getting in. So wishful thinking, we could say it till the cows come home. It's not going to happen. We got to be real. We're going to be real on this show. Should Biden win, and I really hope he does, even though I'm not agreeing with a lot of the stuff he's doing, especially, him in this whole genocide and falling in line with Netanyahu and his fucking warmongering. If Biden becomes president and wins another term, I do feel that what they need to start doing immediately, the minute y'all swear his ass in for a second term, y'all need to really start thinking about who's going to be the next, who's going to follow him in the next situation. And y'all really need to think long and hard because a lot of the younger generation, they're getting smart in regards of like politics and how it works. And they're pulling the curtain back on a lot of that, even though that's why, a lot of these political candidates and pundits are trying to shut down TikTok. They're trying to shut up a lot of people when it comes to a lot of this political talk. So they need to figure out what they're going to do in regards to that, or they need to figure out who is going to be then next, who's going to follow in the footsteps of not trying to be like Joe Biden, but who's going to be the next Democratic candidate. I guess that's a safe word to put it because we don't need another Joe Biden run around here. That's why I had to laugh when Barack Obama said, Michelle said, Sasha and Malia is not running for president. It's like, nope. She didn't even want Barack to run because of all the stuff that was going on. So I wouldn't even want them to have to deal with all that. You got to deal with misogyny and racism. So wait, who do they even have? I've been thinking for a while. Oh yeah, we just said that. Gavin Newsom. It's funny how you brought it up. It's like, is drag something that young gay men do? Because I don't see older men in drag in their everyday lives. Well, they do it as a profession. Well, I know a lot of older drag queens. I mean, Lady Bunny is a good friend of mine. She does drag, but it's not something that she does all day, every day. It's her profession. Bianca Del Rio is an older drag queen, like what, in their 50s? They're doing stuff. Chanel was just on All Stars and was just on Roscoe's, 44 years old, doing drag. So there's a lot of girls out here that is doing it. But it's a profession. It's not something they go around dressing in drag all day, every day. It said him being independent is allowing him to be sexually explicit and in your face for adults. Troy needs to leave the major labels because he's tiptoeing sexual, but not as explicit as Adam. Yeah, and that's why I know a lot of people have a problem with Adam Lambert being sexually fluid and free, whatever. But I'm like, he's a grown ass man who is gay and has sex. Like, this is part of our situation. This is a part of who we are. So for him to have to deny that, I don't know what y'all was expecting. Like, gone are the days where gay people had to be eunuchs in public, in a movie, in a TV show, and in music. We should be allowed to be out here expressing ourselves. And I feel like the younger generation, specifically Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they're more open to exploring sexuality and stuff. So when they're running out here talking about, oh, Gen Z approves, and all, I don't see it because I see a lot of Gen Z out here that be in my damn DMs trying to fuck. And a lot of them are, I see them a lot in on the OnlyFans. I see them a lot on Twitter. And I see, so that may be the image they're trying to put out there. But the reality is, it's not true. He said loads out of his bottom lover. So why would anyone want another term for Biden? 3 wars, criminals, and dope pouring into the country, illegals deleting cities, giving away. Don't even get me started on the mayors and shit doing it too, particularly Mayor Adams. Like, I can't wait to get his ass out too. But, this country's a mess and people like to vote with what's familiar. They don't understand how politics and stuff really work because they've been able to benefit from it from so long. Or maybe they just don't give a shit. But anyway, let's move on to our final topic because I gotta hurry up and get up out of here soon. So we have one more topic. I'm surprised I was able to. I got through the show. See, I timed it and everything. I was like, I'm gonna make it. Now let's get to our final topic, and let's talk about this story from All Stars 10, which I think they're gonna start filming soon. But from what I heard, they are gonna start filming it around the time of DragCon. This is all the tea I've been hearing. But anyway, so shout out to Pink News for this story. There's one thing about Drag Race, it loves a spinoff. The non-elimination charity season, All Stars 9, is well underway. Global All Stars is up next with a sickening cast list, if rumors are to be believed. And the second season of Canada's Drag Race versus the World, is coming very soon. So I don't know if they dropped it yet, because I remember hearing that they were going to be dropping the names of the people. Now, in regards of Global All Stars, in case y'all hadn't heard, the names of the queens that was supposed to be on there is, I think we talked about it on here before. The rumored cast is Alyssa Edwards, Athena Lickis from Drag Race Belgique, Eva LaQueen from Drag Race Philippines. We have Galavaro from Drag Race Mexico Season 1. Season 2 is currently running. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. I'm still on France. Kitty Scott Claus from Drag Race UK Season 3. Then we have Queen Kong from Drag Race Down Under Season 2. Miranda Lebrel from Drag Race Brazil Season 1. Nehelina from Drag Race Italia Season 2. We have Pythia from Canada's Drag Race Season 2. And Soa the Muse from Drag Race France Season 1. And then also Tessa Testicle from Drag Race Germany Season 1. Vanity Vane from Drag Race Sverige. I always forget how to say that damn name. Season 1. And yeah, so that's basically the queens that are supposed to be part of the show. But then we don't know who's a part of Canada's Drag Race, Canada versus the World. So we're going to find that out any day now. And when we do, we're going to talk about it. So it says, as if the Reuniverse isn't enough, the rumor mill for the cast of All Stars 10 has already clicked into gear, and there's one extra surprising name on the list. Now, Canada's Drag Race crowned its fourth winner earlier this year, and it seems Vancouver-based champion Venus could be the second Canadian to take a trip to the American workroom following Jimbo in All Stars 8. So that's the rumor that's going on right now, that Venus, who I didn't particularly care for her for quite as good. I didn't really care for that season. And when they said Venus won, I was like, okay, if you like it, I love it. But do I think she should have won? Quite as good. I don't think any of them queens was strong enough to win that show, but y'all had to pick somebody. So basically, where they're getting this from is like, oh, so what's the evidence in regards to this? Now, for starters, All Stars 10 rumored filming date starts this week, or at least very soon, and will span next month or so. It just so happens that Drag Race Convention, DragCon LA takes place at the same time on the 19th and the 20th of July. Now, last night, Venus told her followers on Instagram that she wouldn't be appearing at the event because of an unspecified commitment. And when you say all of that, because I did hear the rumors that Venus would be appearing, Venus, when they usually do stuff like that, that usually means that, people automatically run to, so it's possible that she could possibly be on All Stars. And if she is on All Stars, do I think she would win? No. But then again, it also depends on who are the competing queens on that season of All Stars 10. And I don't know if I particularly like the fact that when they do All Stars and they bring queens from other shows onto All Stars. I feel like if you're going to do All Stars, y'all need to have your own individual All Stars, like do All Stars for Canada, which I don't think they have. I think they do Canada versus the world. So then just stick with that. But we have global All Stars. So if you're trying to do global, there needs to be a way that y'all differentiate these shows, because they all starting to feel like they're bleeding into each other. So she says, some of y'all may already be aware, but I unfortunately won't be able to attend DragCon LA next month. I was really looking forward to getting to meet you all, angels, but at this time, it's just not feasible. Not being able to be among all my sisters and all of you who continue to support me, especially during my reigning year, is not what I imagined. She also said, creator works in mysterious ways, and I'm counting on all my stars that it'll be worth it. I'll see you there next summer. Now, further evidence to consider is the fact that the Instagram story post was underscored by SZA's banger, All the Stars, and a follow-up post included a caption that read, always serving tens alongside 2-star emojis. We rest our case, Your Honor. We know that the Queen met RuPaul during the latter's book tour de memoir, or tour de memoir. That actually sounds good. We'll go along with it. The House of Hidden Meetings, so perhaps the invitation was extended then. We're just devastated that Melinda Verga doesn't seem to have received hers. That's another thing too, because here's the thing: Melinda Verga was my girl. Like I love that. She was the only reason why I watched Canada's Drag Race that season, because she was giving me my life in regards to stuff. And with hearing this news, I don't mind Venus. We'll see if her drag is elevated. Some of the pictures that I've seen of her on her Instagram, I will say this: her drag looked way better than what she was given on that season. So she's definitely giving me like drag. Although sometimes I do get mad because I feel like sometimes, when I be saying so, I be like, oh, I be saying like, yo, drag ain't valid, whatever the case is. But to me, it's like I look at certain people's drag, it's like, okay, that drag is not for me. I look at things with like, I just don't feel like you walking around here, I'm seeing your meat and potatoes, you ain't tuck it. Unless that's your aesthetic, like Kevin Aviance. Kevin Aviance is a drag artist, but he does not tuck because that's always been his thing. He doesn't put in the boobs. That's always been his thing. He doesn't wear wigs. Every now and again, he'll put like a hair piece or whatever the case on. We're aware of his aesthetic. So sometimes when I look at certain people, it's like, okay, but what is your drag? What is it that you're trying to say? Just like somebody tried to critique, or not critique, but criticize, same shit. They were criticizing Evie Oddly because they were talking about, you ain't doing drag because you wearing facial hair. So you've never heard of a drag queen that's had facial hair? Like I know plenty of bearded drag queens in New York that do that. There are people out here that rock a mustache, and that's her current drag. She's more of an alternative drag queen. She's not somebody who gives straight up tuna. She doesn't give tilapia drag, where it's just, pageant, where I'm wearing gowns and beads and all that stuff. She doesn't come from that era of drag. Her drag is very much experimental, how I'm feeling that day. This is what it is. I didn't necessarily know what Venus's drag was because, child, a lot of them was just all over the place or just trying to have a moment rather than just giving us a point of view. But I actually hope to wrap those up, that Detox and Naomi Smalls, who, they revealed when they were on Roscoe's, that they want to come back to All Stars. So hopefully they'll end up on All Stars 10 or, Global Drag Race, or whatever the hell it is they're going to call it. Either way, I'm excited. I definitely am curious to see how Venus elevates her drag, but we'll see if she actually makes it on. But I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so, he said a lot of them are into healthy bodies. The men are mostly overweight, so that's why. Okay, you said the Canada versus the World casters dropped 3 hours ago. So I may have to look into that because I don't know if I could talk about that really quick. Because it was like, I was on here working and doing a live show. So you know what? We'll actually save that tomorrow because, like I said, I don't want to add nothing to the show, and I don't want to be running around here with like a chicken with his head cut off. So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about when we do tomorrow's show, so that way I can pull up pictures and we could go through each queen one by one and my whole thought process and stuff. Because I hate, like, if I'm not prepared with stuff that I'm just all over the place. Okay, so they said they could have brought back Miss Fierce Delicious. Well, Miss Fierce Delicious does make for good TV. Or he said, Marina, not a winner who most fans thought was favored, so they could have an indigenous winner. Yeah, it does feel like that. And I hate when it feels like at times that Drag Race definitely likes to tick all the boxes because they want to look like they're being progressive when it feels performative. And it's like, you need to pick queens based off of, track record, the way that they're actually bringing it in regards to the art, the performances, the challenges, all that stuff, rather than, we're just going to pick this person because they're non-binary, or we're going to pick this queen because they're trans, and they keep saying that RuPaul is transphobic, so we got to pick a trans winner to overcompensate, not disregarding Sonique and Sasha Colby. Because Sasha Colby, we already knew she was going to be the winner the minute she walked through the door. She's a legend in the drag world. She's been doing it for so damn long. So people were aware of Sasha Cole, but she's a drag queen's favorite drag queen, as Channel Roan said in that interview. So she was always going to be that girl. So it said Kim Kardashian had 2 tickets to see Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift allowed Northwest, but denied her mom. And unfortunately, that led Northwest not being able to go because mom was denied. Well, you know what? She could have sent the nanny, or she could have, I was going to say she could have sent Kanye, but she hate, who she hate more? Kanye or she hate Kim? So, child, first of all, Kim, why would you even want to go to a Taylor Swift concert knowing full and well you got beef with that artist? Taylor is getting dragged because she isn't that person to allow one night so her daughter can attend the show with the legal guardian. And that's what I was going to say. Like, you could have sent a legal guardian. You could have sent a nanny or somebody to take her to the event. I mean, look, no shade taken. I mean, no offense taken. Like I said, I didn't particularly care for Venus on her season. I didn't particularly care for her style of drag. And that's just my opinion. If you liked her drag, then that's great. Like I said, art is subjective. I didn't particularly care for her denim work. My root canal nerd watching her and that stupid ass vocal fry she was doing. I was like, that's not even your real voice. And it was just like, she irritated my spirit. So it is what it is. If she is on the show, that's great. Everybody needs a chance of winning, whatever, or coming back and compete. But I don't see her winning a second time. I feel like she's definitely, Canada, I guess that's the bar that y'all like to set in regards to how y'all drag aesthetic and everything is, or that's y'all standard. But in other places, you're going to realize that she really going to have to step her pussy up in regards to her drag if she want to compete with whoever these other queens are going to be on this show. So we don't know who it is. We'll just wait until that announcement is officially made, and then we'll talk about it. So, I always hate when this comes back up and I gotta, take it out. But anyway, so we're at the end of the show. Any questions, comments, or concerns before I log off of here? Because I gotta get up out of here. I gotta head to City Field. I got a gig to do in regards of working. I know Justin Timberlake's second show was tonight at the Garden. I didn't get to work any of the shows, so I don't know what happened over there. But I will pick the brains of my coworkers so that way I can bring you all the tea. Like, how was the Justin Timberlake concert? What happened? What went down? I haven't seen any of the media talking about it. I guess he said all he needed to say in Chicago. But yeah, I'm over it. I'm at the other situation. I'm going to be in Citi Field. I think the Mets and the Yankees are actually playing each other tonight, so that's going to be interesting. So that's where I'll be. And I will be back on tomorrow with a brand new episode of Chris Allen Unfiltered. But in the meantime, please hit that like button if you haven't already, that subscribe button, and the notification button, so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Allen Unfiltered. I want to thank all of you who were in the live chat with today's show. I know it was an early one, but I had to give it to y'all because there's a lot going on, and I want to leave enough room to talk about other stuff when we come back with a brand new show tomorrow. So, love you all for watching. Thank you all once again, and until next time, ciao, darlings. Oh wait, it said Meghan canceled a Germany show, and the Barbs are treating it like How's the tour canceled? It's one day. I mean, it's one show. And look, while yes, Nicki Minaj is definitely cleaning up in regards of like being on that top list tour, when we talked about with Madonna, when we talked about it in passing yesterday because it was breaking news as we was doing a live show. Let me pull that up. Maybe she's not a big sellout out in Germany, and that's fine. Has Nicki Minaj performed in Germany? Was that one of her leg days? And I feel like y'all need to why do y'all spend so much time on social media just focusing so much on the ops and the fact that, okay, something happened with them over there. Like, y'all just be on these girls' tits. If you don't care about Nicki Minaj, if you don't, or say that, and let's throw her in the comments. If you don't care about Nicki Minaj, if you don't care about Cardi B, if you don't care about Megan Thee Stallion, if you don't care about all these other female rappers, why are y'all always worrying about what these other people's doing? If your fave is Nicki, go ahead and love on her. But stop always trying to bring in or worry about what other girls over there is doing. Your fave is winning. That should be enough. But it's the insecurity for me. I said Meghan struggles with an international fan base. She canceled a lot of shows in Europe. She can't sell in Europe. Well, first of all, I don't think that Megan Thee Stallion has solidified herself yet as an international artist. She's someone who's relatively new to the game. So she really, if she wants to get that market, Megan drops this week. So she has to figure out how her music can translate over into these other markets. It's like, yeah, Nicki Minaj, people like her because her music is universal. She's worked with not just one particular type of sound. Her music is global. She has the pop songs when people mock her for it, but why y'all mocking her for that? Them pop songs got her solidified to be able to perform outside of the United States. Y'all need to stop thinking small and think that, you know what, let's get outside of that local bubble and think internationally. There's a whole other world that's bigger than the United States. So yeah, Megan will do well with her arena tour as an independent artist in the United States because she's made a name for herself here. But if she really wants to branch out, and hopefully she is going to be doing that with the new Megan album, because I need to hear it. Because when I worked her concert, and I told you I was on the floor, so I was like literally inches away from her and the stage. If she really wants to get that global market, she needs to work with other sounds. She can't keep doing that twerking music, that down south twerking music. Like, it's just change it up. The trap beat is tired. So if you're trying to get on that level of being like not the next Cardi or whatever, you need to kind of think, not the next Cardi, the next Nicki, you need to do better in regards of branch out, change up your flow, change up the production style, and try to rap over other beats. And that's why I do agree with that, because you said that she has a fan base in Europe. And yeah, Doja Cat, she switches up her flow. She also works with different types of production styles, and she's not afraid to look like change up her look and look like a demon 1 minute and look like a pretty girl the next minute. So Doja Cat gives you pop star. So that's what she needs to do. And I do agree with this when you said she's not pop oriented. And that's probably also a reason why Little Kim wasn't able to be like that global star, because Little Kim is hip hop. Little Kim she had a couple of pop songs and she branched out with Notorious K.I.M. There was, she had her pop moments, but if you look at Kim, the foundation is hip hop. When you look at Megan Thee Stallion, the foundation is hip hop. But if she's trying to get to that place where she's trying to elevate to the next level of being a pop star, which she's going to need to if she wants to sustain a career longer than, 10 minutes or 10 years, she's got to diversify her portfolio, is what I'm saying. So yeah, there's that. But so yeah, just glad we got that out the way. But anyway, let me go and get ready so I don't be late and they kill me. So love you all for watching, and see you guys tomorrow. Ciao, darlings.